everyone, and welcome back to D&D&D&D&D campaign number 2 of Black Ink and Blue Blood. When we last left off, the party made their way back into the quarantined area of the Ichor Beast Research Lab, fighting subjects Zeta and Epsilon, who had managed to teleport their way out of containment. The party managed to beat down both Ichor Beasts, Gil having a narrow brush with potential death at the barrel of Subject Epsilon's Ichory sniper rifle. And as Gil regains consciousness, Caleb begins to investigate the fallen bodies. I believe, if I recall, Caleb, you had mentioned that you were interested in checking out the weapon that Subject Zeta had left behind.
Yeah.
And
roll anything?
Yeah, it's just sitting on the ground. Although, if you want to try and identify it, make me a Arcana check.
All right, let me see. Arcana. I get +2 to that. Caleb is decently smirked. That'll be 16.
Okay, noted. So, Zephyr, you saw that laser pistol on the wall. Caleb, you start making your way from Zeta's disintegrating body after you dealt the final blow to investigate.
The link gonna pop up.
It always takes a couple minutes. Just give it a moment. Start making your way over to their fallen weaponry. What are the rest of you doing as the fight comes to a close and Gil, you regain consciousness?
Did anybody pick up that gun that the one dropped?
I think it sounds like
Caleb's going over to investigate it, although you can join them if you want.
I want to. I'm gonna pick it up, break it over my knee. No, I'm not gonna do that.
Do you want to try and identify it?
Yes.
Maybe an Arcana check. I'll give you advantage since you're more familiar with this technology.
Oh heck yes, I am. I'm okay at Arcana.
Arcana.
20. Sweet. Right off the bat. I got a 4 and then a nat 20.
Man,
nice.
Fucking look at you. All right. Lucian, Gil, and Zephyr, what are the three of you doing?
Zephyr is just going to... I guess he's going to just sigh. I guess he'll scavenge for bolts because he's kind of...
All right.
You could use some of his bolts back.
Okay. Make me a survival check. I'll give you advantage since the Ichor Beast bodies disintegrate, so you're more likely to be able to recover them.
Alrighty then.
Do you remember how many you fired since the fight was last session?
Not completely. I think.
Well, as a guy, I have a number in mind. Just like figured I'd see if you had an exact thing in mind. Okay.
Survival.
Yeah, and with advantage because the Ichor Beast body disintegrates, so you don't have to like yank it out of their bodies. It's just a matter of if they survive the impact.
21.
All right, noted. Lucian and Gil, what are the two of you doing?
There it is.
All right, we'll give the two of them a moment. Caleb and Neon. The two of you approach the weapon. Caleb, looking it over, you're not familiar with the technology. However, you're naturally very inquisitive and smarter than most people would expect. You kind of look it over. You see it's this massive, almost backpack-like box that's meant to be strapped to the back of its wielder. A tube that appears to be several interconnected ones connecting to the butt end of this firearm-looking weapon filled with several like baubles, bulbs, and tubes with a flared nozzle at the end. You don't know the exact function, but you can guesstimate that whatever's in that backpack is funneled into the weapon and then sprayed out the front. Although given that Zeta did not fire it, you don't know exactly what that would entail. However, Neon, you recognize at a glance, this is a flamethrower.
Is Caleb holding it right now?
Yeah, you got to it first, so you get first dibs.
And he
but-
didn't see what it does, right?
Yeah, you just know it's a backpack with some stuff in it that
Is
connects to the
there
weapon.
a direction that's pretty empty of anybody else?
The hallway that Zeta had emerged from appears to be empty. Just a long stretch. with
Caleb
an
is going to
airlock.
give it a test fire down that hallway.
All right. Neon, you watch. Well, all of you watch as Caleb kind of. Do you want to like strap on the backpack and everything?
He's just going to test it out. He's not sure how heavy that backpack might be.
All right. So you level the weapon down the hall, and you give a pull of the trigger, and
Oh, no.
this stretch of fire
Oh, no.
emerges from the nozzle. Lucian, please make me a wisdom save.
I'm sorry, I didn't. Caleb just didn't know what it does.
Yeah, so-
Caleb didn't know what it did, so he just wanted to see what it did.
D&D Beyond is no. Come on. I'm gonna have to.
Yeah, whenever
Might have to go get my D20 because
when Caleb sees it firing, he's gonna go, "Whoa!
Oh,
Hold
What
on.
is
give me a
this?"
hot sec.
Yeah, no worries. We'll come back to you.
I'm
And
sorry, Caleb didn't know what it
no,
did.
yeah. Caleb had no idea. It's fine. Neon didn't say anything. In
mean,
fact, I don't
Caleb
think.
didn't
Yeah,
give him a
Neon's not
chance.
actually aware of Lucian's pyrophobia. But yeah, so Neon, Caleb, you know that the two of you are looking at a flamethrower. Caleb, you approached it first, so you get first dibs. Although Neon, you are free to contribute conversation-wise, and if Caleb does not have anything they want to do with it, then you can be the second runner-up.
Caleb's like, I'm pretty sure I've been told not to play with fire.
Well, it does have a tendency to burn things.
This seems something more like what you would use.
Well, I prefer to be in the business of not torching the subjects, but
Hey, what is it that they say if they attack you first, it's like open game?
not quite. We prefer to be when dealing with citizens. We prefer to be in the business of non-lethal.
Okay,
Methods
I
of-
rolled 12.
Lucian, with the previous fight, Gil's near brush with death already weighing on your mind. Kara, welcome to the session. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. Zephyr is going around collecting his fired bolts. Lucian is comforting the just coming back to consciousness Gil. And Kara, you watch as Caleb and Neon approach that strange box weapon that Subject Zeta had been carrying. And Caleb gave it a quick test fire to find that it was a flamethrower. And as the stretch of fire just spreads over the hallway, nothing catching a flame, but just creating this massive cone of burning. Lucian, just your mind already incredibly divided and occupied. Everything just kind of goes like it's almost like you're hearing like this high-pitched whine as you enter into a full-on breakdown.
PTSD.
I'm starting to have flashbacks of why this is in my head. I push my back to the nearest wall and put my hands in my head and start shaking violently. Just no words, just shaking.
Caleb's like, oh, that's not good. I didn't know it shot fire.
And I would like to, as I'm sitting,
A bit closer to the
reach
mic, bud.
out to.
Very far.
Can you hear me?
Closer
We
to the mic,
can hear
baby.
you. You're just quiet. If need be, you can switch over to Amanda's mic.
1 second.
In the meantime, Kara, what are you doing while everyone else is doing all this?
So this is like after the fight.
Yeah, all the Ichor beasts besides Theta are dead. Zephyr's scavenging. Lucian is having a panic attack. Gil's about to stand up and do something. Neon and Caleb are finagling with the flamethrower.
I know it could cure this. More flame.
Jesus.
I'm gonna go over to Lucian, and
She's muttering to herself in Russian.
I will attempt to comfort her. Carol has no idea what you're saying, but
Wouldn't it be Slavic?
It would be actually Yavik.
Technically neither. It's Yavik.
No, you know what I meant.
Yeah. But yeah, either way, yes. Yeah, Caro, you approach Lucian, just muttering in a language that you've heard before, but like you haven't been here incredibly long, and because most people are still, especially in your trade, are still able to speak common, the need to learn the local tongue just never really occurred to you. So you can't understand what Lucian is saying, but they appear kind of distant and panicked with their head in their hands and just backed up against the massive terminal occupying the western wall, and just seem to barely even register your presence as you approach.
Like, I think it might be best if we didn't use this weapon.
No,
Maybe
no,
I should
it's
hold on to it.
She kind of like rubs her eyes and trying to ground herself. No, it's okay. I don't usually. It's hard to understand. I know, and it's hard to explain. And she just takes a second.
Caro, when you approach Lucian, what do you want to do?
I'm probably at her height. Crouched down.
Probably.
And sit. Yeah. And gesture for Garo to come over to us.
They kind of roll their head and slouch over.
I'll look over to Lucian. Just, give Garo a squeeze. It always makes everyone feel better.
Give Garo a squeeze.
I hug on Garo and kind of look over to Caro. It really does remind me of Mishka. You'll like him when we go visit him. Yes.
While they're doing that, Caleb's just gonna put the thing down.
Alright, so Caleb, you kind of cautiously put the flamethrower down and take a step back. Neon, you can do with it as you wish or leave it be.
I'll just like strap it onto Morrigan for now, just for safekeeping.
Okay. And Gil, if your mic is working, what were you wanting to do?
So he's gonna get up. Did Zephyr point out the pistol?
Nope.
No, he just saw it and walked on. Although, since you guys are just kind of like wandering and like taking a second to catch your breath, it's not hard to find. It's just in a case on the wall.
Then I would like to bust the case or open it, whichever one's easier, and take the pistol if nobody else is interested in it.
Alright. You all watch Gil approach, and yeah, there doesn't appear to be an easy way to open it. It appears like it's meant to be broken open, so using your sword so that you don't have to do it with your bare hands. Bash!
In emergency, break glass?
Basically, yeah. And smash against the glass case and carefully reach in, and unless anybody else wants to contest him for it, Neon, you may add a pyro converger to your inventory.
Hell yeah. I may just do that, in fact.
And Gil, you may add a laser pistol to your inventory. This is, of course, a firearm, so you do not have proficiency in it. And it has enough ammunition currently loaded into it for... Hang on, I have it written down here.
One shot?
It's like a spare few, but... here, I'm checking. But I'll give you the exact clip size in a moment. But so yeah, Gil, you have the laser pistol, and Neon, you have the pyroconverger.
Even though Leon's not one for torching the perps.
Yeah. Well, at least you have it.
Maybe you
Right.
can turn it into a blowtorch to cut things open with.
Quite possible.
Or I could just set the Ichor beasts ablaze.
Also true. So, and Zephyr, as you complete your scavenging, you're able to grab 4 of your fired shots in total. You appear
So I
to.
think at this point, Caleb will take the opportunity to reload his musket.
All right, easy enough to do. You all reload your various weapons, examine your newfound ones. I will note, Neon, if you want to use the power converter, it does require attunement. Gil, for your pistol, once Gil does not know how much ammo is in a clip of these things, but I do have it noted and will be keeping track of it. And once you run out of shots, unless you find a way to resupply it, that's it. And again, as a firearm, you do not have proficiency in this. Bear in mind.
Yeah.
So,
I still find it funny that he was like an officer in like the army somewhere.
remember, it's been made pretty clear that because Gil was a colonel, he didn't really see frontline duty that frequently. Colonel. So, with that, as Zephyr, you retrieve.
While they're doing that. Sorry?
Yeah, go ahead. I was just leaving room for everyone to do stuff.
Jeremy said I was echoey. Am I echoey?
No, you sound fine on our end.
No, not really.
So, what would you like to do?
Sitting there, kind of trying to ground myself with Garrow. I'll look to the others. I really want to look at the house, and I really want to get out of here and go to the brokers and get my questions answered and get the fuck out of this place.
But let's get to stepping then.
Follow me.
Yes, because he has such a great track record with that, for sure.
I give Garrow one. I give Garrow one last hug before I get up.
All right. Lucian, using the texture and weight of the small tiger to slowly pull yourself out of the memories and into the present. You shakily stand to your feet as Gil fondly examines his new weapon. Neon finishes tightening the straps to keep the pyroconverter attached to Morgan, and Zephyr reloads, quote unquote, the scavenged crossbow bolts. Are you all prepared to proceed back into the facility?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to kill with my bare fists.
With my fists.
I'm going to get at them with my fingers.
All right. Because you guys already deactivated the quarantine in this particular wing, it's not a particularly difficult trek. You all begin to proceed down the hallway, passing through the airlocks that had been closed, the vents that had once been distributing poison to keep the Ichor beasts' mobility low. You're all tense and uncertain, as with the security protocols down, none of you are sure, even those who have passed through this way already, 100% sure if an Ichor beast hasn't since taken up residence with the security measures down. But you proceed down the hall. You can see the windows into the control console that the small squad had been at earlier. and you make it back to the staircase that leads down into the livestock area and beyond where you had met Subject Theta initially. For those who are just seeing it, as you all begin to cautiously descend the stairway, your noses are immediately filled with this stench of rotten death. As you pass by several closed off but windowed doorways with neon because
Stench of death.
and the open doorway leading out into the fields, this open cavern that had been frozen over by Theta's powers. Snow and wind billowing into the livestock containment area. And as you guys get closer to the doorway, a new smell hits you over the overpowering decay and rotting smell. The smell of smoke. And as you all step out carefully into the snowy cavern, immediately your eyes kind of squinting and your hair being blown back by the freezing cold winds and snow, you all in the distance can see a plume of smoke, which Neon, Caro, and Zephyr, you can identify as where the boiler shed had been.
Well, I feel bad for whoever has to clean that up.
Normally my job.
Well, it's not your job anymore.
Well, I don't think there's going to be many people cleaning up here for very much longer.
Theta kind of looks around and kind of mutters to themselves a little bit, just making sounds and like almost internal conversation that's being against its will externalized as you all begin what for some of you is a familiar trek through the snow. You all trudge and begin making your way across the snowy fields towards where those who have seen the blueprints and those who have been here already remember to be the location of Mr. Smithers' home, down here in the deepest depths of the research lab. Is there anything of note you guys would like to do or say before getting to the house?
No.
Not for me.
Okay.
Drop my phone.
I just want to keep an eye out. I'll be aware of my surroundings at all times.
All right. Make me a perception check. Disadvantage because of the blizzard.
Okay, I can do that. Get out my D20s.
Does Zephyr still have the blanket or something that...
He has. I don't think he's gotten rid of it, so yeah, you should still have it, Zephyr.
Yeah, that's
Continue. I'll be right back.
Okay.
I technically have a blanket, do I know? No.
So, Lucian, do you have your the results of your roll? All right.
22.
All right.
Sorry.
You keep a careful eye on the surrounding caverns and occasionally listen to Theta's kind of personal ramblings. You can see them look towards one of the distant walls of the cavern and make a small noise under their breath. And turn their head to the opposite side and kind of mutter to themselves, "Buried here, buried here." But the...
Caleb was just asking birds.
Theta gives a nod and points in the direction they'd been looking at first. My pigeons! They kind of like drool and stoop for a moment to vomit ichor into the snow before continuing to trudge through the freezing cold behind all of you. Neon kind of taking the initiative to lead the group rather than rely on Theta's questionable navigation abilities. If I recall, those of you who had been here already did not close the door to Smithers' home behind you, so you should be able to enter it freely.
Which means that everything has been destroyed?
So...
The crime scene is contaminated.
You all trudge through the snow. In total, between the hallway, the trip to the livestock area, and through the snow, in total, you've been walking for about a half hour, closing in on like 40-45 minutes. As finally, those of you who had not been here already see this, what appears to be a multi-tiered home. Although those of you who have been here already know that, at least as far as your investigation turned up, this home is not multi-story. So you can't imagine what the height of it is meant for. But you're all able to approach, and Neon at the head. The door is still open, and Lucian, taking a moment to carefully listen and examine the surroundings to the best of your frozen ability. Nothing appears to be disturbing you.
I don't like the way you said that.
Well, nothing may be disturbing us, but is anything disturbing to us?
It's pretty cold.
That is pretty disturbing.
That is really disturbing. Ah!
So we're entering the house.
If you guys wish, do you all enter?
Gil, I was gonna say Gil goes in.
All right. You all enter the home.
Let's go.
You all enter the home of Smithers, the elven CEO of the coal company that had started this ill-fated, now revealed to be maliciously intended mining expedition. Those of you who
roll the one on perception.
Caleb, you're with the wind and the cold, your eyes are like squinted almost to the point of being shut, and you have to kind of rely on the sounds of everyone walking around you to kind of slowly stumble your way into the house and just start and kind of start having to like wipe the like ice and snowflakes out of your eyes. As Caleb cleans themselves up and the rest of you start to file in. Those of you who have not been here already are greeted with a unfamiliar sight. You see two rooms, one on the left, one on the right, and a hallway going forward into a third room. It appears to be very small and tight living quarters, very surprisingly humble and bare bones. The leftmost area at a glance appears to have counters and Tupperware that would give you the idea of it being a kitchen. The rightmost room is simply a large room with a table and a few chairs that have been upturned and scattered. And you cannot clearly see the room ahead of you. And those of you who have been here already know that this was where the painting had been structured and blocked this area off. But for those of you just coming in, you just see a empty frame and a bunch of junk scattered in the hallway, but the room behind it free to access. What would you all like to do?
Are there like anything that has like drawers or anything like that that Caleb could start rummaging through?
The kitchen does appear to have several doors that you can start looking
Yeah,
through.
I want to go into the room and start just going through it as much as I can. I'm looking
left,
for
right, or
books.
forward?
I'm looking for jewels. I will go forward.
All right, so
And I will
Lucian's
go
heading
with her.
Okay, Lucian and
will
Gil
go
down the
with
hall.
her.
Caleb in the kitchen. Where are the rest of you going?
Their chair.
Yeah, there is chairs in the dining area to your right.
All right, I'm gonna like just sit in the chair while I wait for everyone else.
All right. Zephyr, you hop up onto one of, kind of riding it as it had been knocked over, and hop up to sit in the chair and kind of cross your legs and arms, and you wait. Neon, Caro, what are the two of you doing?
His desk. I want to look at his desk some more.
Do you mean the table in the dining area, or
Didn't he have like a desk that had like the fucking diamonds on it or some shit?
No,
we found that on the floor.
it was just like a pile built up at the foot of the painting as an improvised shrine.
That's right.
Right.
Right. I forgot about that. Okay.
But yeah, so Lucian and Gil are heading into the unknown room down the hall behind where the shrine had been. Caleb is heading to the kitchen on the left to start rummaging through the drawers, and Zephyr is waiting for everyone in the dining area to the right.
I'll follow into the unknown room then.
All right, 3 of you going forward. Kara, what are you doing?
Is Theta still in the same room?
Yeah,
Maybe
Theta is in the entrance hallway, kind of nervously steepling their fingers and just kind of watching you and making kind of low, like.
Go to stand next to him. Just look up and ask, "Are you okay?"
Not supposed to be here.
Don't worry, it'll be okay. You don't have to go any further.
Caleb, make me an investigation.
What do you want me to
check.
roll?
Yep, investigation check. And Lucy and Gil and Neon, either you can all make separate investigation checks, or one of you can roll with advantage, and then the tertiary person can make a flat roll.
That'll be 15.
Okay, 15 for Caleb. So Lucy and Gil, Neon, what's the arrangement for you three going to be? You can all roll separately, or one of you can roll with advantage, and the other person can take their own result.
Yeah, let me see what my investigation is first.
I think I want to take my own, or I can do advantage with if you want to, Jacob.
I have
Whatever you want.
+3.
I'm just going to do my own roll.
Yeah, I'm just going to do my own roll.
I have a plus something. I don't know. Hang on.
You got a plus something.
Presumably, yeah.
Unless you have a minus or a 0.
This is an investigation, right?
Yeah.
I have a +4.
Okay, I'll work to help give her advantage.
Lucy, an investigation with advantage. Gil, flat roll.
Cool.
21.
All right. Lucian?
Grip.
23. I had a natural 19.
Okay. And Zephyr, real quick, are you going to be like just kind of looking around at all, or are you just sitting and waiting and just kind of like idling? Like, are you just going to be like looking around at all, or? All right, Caleb.
Do I find any munchies?
Yep. Digging through the various drawers and cabinets, it unfortunately appears that the cabinets and pantries have been scoured clean. You've only find a few crumbs and a stray rat that promptly like runs out squeaking into the kitchen, startling you for a moment.
Shame.
However, as you collect the implements and silverware that has been left behind, you are able to assemble enough equipment to have a very basic set of cook's tools.
Oh, interesting.
That's about that.
So you are able to gather enough implements to assemble a set of cook's tools, but there does not appear to be any food that has not been taken in the seeming hasty evacuation
Now
of this
Caleb
house.
gets to learn how to cook.
Also, Austin, you still with us?
Yeah.
Yeah, I asked you earlier. Is Zephyr
Cooking utensils?
Yeah, cook's utensils, yes. Is Zephyr like looking around at all, or is he just waiting?
He's just waiting on the party. Have them. Let them to have their search, and once they're done, we can finally leave.
Okay.
So.
Let me see what your passive is. What is your passive investigation?
It's okay. It's 18.
Okay. I will say, Zephyr, as you're just kind of waiting, your eyes just kind of idly flicking over the room, you may not be necessarily invested in what's to be found here, but you're perceptive. Your father's training to make you into the best thief that Tebedra has to offer has given you very sharp eyes. And what initially most of the group had simply like offhandedly dismissed as garbage or just simple like leftovers, not probably worth looking into, you see a few small cylinders on the table, and kind of idly like glancing at them, you see that there's a very light glow coming off of them. It's faint, but it's there. if you wish to grab them, I will say that while you don't necessarily know the function of them, I will tell you player-wise that you find half-depleted energy cells, 3 of them left behind on the table.
So can Caleb put the cooking utensils in his bag of holding?
Absolutely. You start as you assemble them into a set of cook's tools that you could
Is there
grab
maybe
at a
like
moment's
a
notice.
box around here you can stuff them in?
Yeah, I mentioned that there was some containers and Tupperware lying around. So stuffing them into a box and latching it shut, you stuff it into your bag of holding to join the rest of the items. Zephyr, again, you don't necessarily know their function at a glance, but you see that there are these small glowing cylinders, 3 of them that appear to be running low on energy, but still giving some off. Do you want to grab them or no?
I guess, yeah, Zephyr will get up and we'll just look at them and give a little shrug and put them in his bag, because why not?
Alright. Add 3 half-depleted energy cells to your inventory. Alright. Lucian, Gil, and Neon. The 3 of you, Neon having to go outside of your mech to fit into the hallway, start slowly and carefully making your way down, not sure what to expect. And you emerge at the opposite end of the hallway in a relatively large, but still pretty tight and humble bedroom. A large king-sized bed taking up the bulk of it, a few side tables on either side of it, and you actually see 2 hallways going back the way you would come on either side. It appears that there is probably a way to get back into the previous rooms to get around the shrine. But the main hallway accessing it had been blocked off, as you get the impression there wasn't exactly a lot of space to be setting up shrines. But the 3 of you disperse and start searching. Looking through the side tables, under the bed, searching the various nooks and crannies. As Zephyr collects the energy cells, Caleb assembles their cooking tools, and Caro, Raccoon, and Theta wait at the entrance. Gil, you find underneath the bed a small locked box, and kind of giving it a very cautious shake. There's a clatter of what sounds to be several small items inside. But as the rest of you look around, you don't see much else in here. The drawers are empty. The bed does not contain any secrets, not even a mint. And none of the other nooks and crannies turns up, so the 3 of you gather around the locked box that Gil managed to scavenge from under the bed that appears to have been forgotten in the haste to leave.
I was gonna have Caleb do like a.
Well, actually, while he does that, I will go to the other room that has not been explored yet.
That would be the dining area, so you will rejoin Zephyr in a second. Caleb, what are you doing?
I was gonna have Caleb maybe try to search the floor for any doors or any trapdoor type things.
Make me another investigation check. And Lucian, are you intending to search the dining area?
Yes.
All right, you make me an investigation check as well.
That's gonna be 15.
Yes.
Okay.
That's gonna be a 21.
Okay. Caro at the entranceway, so you have kind of a view of everyone. You and Raccoon watch as Caleb starts carefully searching the floors, kind of knocking against tiles and pieces of wooden flooring to feel out for any potential trapdoors.
Anything that's like a floorboard that's seems like it's been lifted before.
Mm-hmm. And Zephyr, as you sit, Lucian emerges from a hallway going forward, and you watch as Lucian starts to search. But Lucian, other than the table that has been picked clean and the upturned chairs, nothing in here appears to stand out to you. You don't find anything. And Caleb, you give the house what you feel is a relatively thorough once over, and you find no trapdoors or anything notable, although you do see Gil and Neon looking over a small, what appears to be locked metal box.
Caleb's gonna walk over and be like, "What's in the box?"
Yeah,
I don't know yet.
Yeah, I'll go. I'll go back over there and be like, yeah, what did we find? What did you find? I guess.
I don't know yet. Zephyr, could you unlock this?
No, do I have thieves' tools? Because I am
don't-
proficient
I
with
don't
them.
think you. I think you didn't buy any. Correct. If I remember correctly, you didn't buy any.
Well, because thieves' tools usually involves lock picks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what usually.
Can Caleb apply at least his understanding of how to pick a lock, but use like a dagger or something?
You'd be rolling it at disadvantage, but you could.
All right, Caleb's gonna give it a crack.
All right. Zephyr. Well, first of all, Gil and Neon, do you allow Caleb to make an attempt?
Yeah,
I
I'll
don't see why not.
Okay. Caleb, make me a this will be a thieves tools check at disadvantage. You will apply your proficiency and your dexterity. So in total, you will apply a. So that's a +3, and then with your proficiency, that's a +6 to what you roll. But you had
Okay.
but you're at disadvantage.
First roll was 18. Second roll is gonna be even higher than that, so it's 18.
Okay. Gil, Neon, Lucian, Zephyr, do you answer the call for your name?
Sure. You will come over.
Zephyr, entering from the same hall as Lucian. You all watch as Caleb, lacking proper lockpicks, simply uses one of those daggers as an improvised one and fiddles with the lock for a minute, 2 minutes, 3. And it's about to cross 4 when the lock gives way, and Caleb, you're able to delicately lift the ironclad lid of the small handheld box.
Caleb just smiles like, "I did it."
Well done, Caleb.
I pat him on the shoulder. Good job.
Well done.
I recommend getting some tools
I want
next
to
time.
look in the box.
Yeah, next time Caleb will need to look for some actual tools.
Yes.
Caleb,
So what's in the box?
Yep, Caleb, feeling pretty good about yourself as everyone heaps praises on you. Even your brother, simply just saying that you'd probably do better with proper tools, but still managed to get it open with improvised tools for the job. Inside the box, you guys see a modest stack of gold coins that have been kind of knocked around by Gil's retrieval of it, and a dagger covered in ornate-looking runes that none of you recognize.
Caleb is gonna grab the dagger.
All right. Giving it a twirl between your fingers. It's light, but you can almost hear the sing of the metal as it spins between your fingers.
Does this seem like it might be something kind of like the Gambit cards?
Make an Arcana check.
Okay, Arcana check. Caleb's been rolling a lot of checks lately.
Yeah, Caleb's been doing stuff.
That's gonna be 21 in total.
As he does that, could I maybe look at it and see if maybe I could?
Make an Arcana check.
Caleb's rolled a 21 in total.
Got it. I'll see what Lucian rolls real quick before giving the results, since it may apply to both.
21.
Okay.
We rolled the same thing.
Yep.
I think she rolled lower, but
yeah, they're a mage, so better Arcana. So, the two of you look over this dagger. The ruins are unfamiliar to both of you. They appear to be, as you look closely, you can see that they're kind of carved somewhat sloppily into the blade. You almost get the impression that it was probably an improvised job, not professionally done. But you do definitely recognize that as improvised as they were, they definitely had a magical effect. Caleb, you may add a +1 dagger to your inventory.
A +1 dagger.
Yep, because you've never had one of these before, it gives you +1 to attack rolls and damage rolls as when you're using it.
Mm-hmm.
How many
+1.
coins?
Gil, as Caleb and Lucian look over
Here's +1.
Caleb's new blade, you carefully gather up every coin, and in total, you have 50 gold.
Okay.
And as you gather all the coins, you do see a small rolled up note. And as it unfurls in your gathering of the coins, you see simply written on it in Elvish, for those of you that can read it, it simply says, "In case of financial emergency."
Mm-hmm.
Is that what the box said?
While Gil was gathering up the coins, there was a rolled up note inside that said that in Elvish.
This wasn't supposed to be a dagger to seppuku yourself with.
Alright, so between Caleb searching for of the floorboards, you guys thorough checks of every room in the house. You don't find anything that resembles a secret entrance. The cook's tools and Zephyr's energy cells appear to be all that was left behind. As far as you all can tell, between you and...
I was going to say, was there a second floor from the outside?
It looks like there is, but you don't see any like stairs going up or anything.
Can we search the ceiling for any trapdoors?
Could we maybe push against the wall in the bedrooms, maybe?
Caleb, make an investigation check with advantage.
Is there like any bush? Is there any bookcases
Yeah, because Lucian's
or?
helping you.
Ooh, good thing I had advantage. 16.
All right.
It was on the second roll was higher.
All right. Caleb, you and Lucian start to carefully check the walls, the ceiling to the best of your abilities. It's a relatively low ceiling, so it's not incredibly difficult. Zephyr just kind of watching in some amusement as they search the house, the walls, the ceiling, and Caleb's previous search of the floor. Nothing appears to turn up.
Gil,
So are we done here?
How tall up is the ceiling?
In total, you estimate it to be about in the ballpark of like 9 feet at the highest. Sometimes as low as like 6 or 7 in some parts.
Wow.
Again,
so
small house.
At the 6 and 7 area, Gil wants to use one of his rages, grow his claws, and he wants to rip through the ceiling so he can get to the top.
Okay. Make me a just general strength check.
I was going to have Caleb try to go outside and look for a window and climb up to it using his daggers.
Make me an investigation check, disadvantage if you're going to go out into the blizzard.
Well, no, Caleb's going to see what happens with this smashing the ceiling first.
19.
Okay. Gil, you extend your dripping, inky claws and give a roar as you rear back and go to slice into the ceiling. And your claws simply bounce off. It is incredibly thick stonework.
Right, Caleb's going outside.
All right. Investigation at disadvantage.
Oh god, all this disadvantage.
Yeah, I mean, you're out in a blizzard.
I know. I didn't know I'd be rolling so much today.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, do I see any woodwork?
Oh dear, I already know this ain't gonna work, but you know.
There is some on the flooring, but
And-
not on the ceiling or walls.
So
Who
that
was in the
would be
kitchen?
four.
Was there any buttons on top of the kitchen counters? Could you maybe look, Gil?
Lucian, I would say you know that Caleb already searched and found nothing. Searched the kitchen twice,
Okay.
actually.
I got
And-
a 4 on that investigation.
Caleb, you, Caro, you and Theta kind of step aside as Caleb trudges outside, and again, still being kind of forced to squint and hold up the hood of your cloak against the wind and snow. It's hard to even make out anything, but as far as you can barely see, you don't see any obvious points of entry, like no windows, nothing that stands out to you. The building simply goes up for roughly another 6 feet before tapering off at. You are able to make out that the roof appears relatively flat, like there may be a balcony of sorts, but that's about all you're able to make out.
I
How
have an
much of an
idea.
impact does this gambit card? Does the gambit card that does damage have?
What is its range, you said?
How much of an impact does it have? Like you think like they could break stone?
It could damage stone, but I would say that with Gil's pretty impressive strength, barely making a dent in it, and the fact that you can only use it twice a day in general and once today, you doubt you're going to make any super significant impact.
Hey, DM.
What's
Gonna
that?
have to be a mad lad. Caleb is
would
going to
like-
try to find a way to climb this building.
All right, noted. Neon?
I would like to go outside, get back in my mech, and just kind of smash a hole in the side of the building. Preferably towards the top, I mean.
Okay. Okay, that's interesting. Does your mech have any like ability like does double damage to buildings, or is it just like sheer brute force?
Sheer brute force, I'm pretty sure. I don't believe I have anything that can help me against structures, but I'll
Sheer
double
brute
check just to
force
make
and the
sure.
power of will.
Let's see, I'm level 5. No.
All right.
Can I go out there and help him?
You're not going to be able to reach the top floor without assistance. Neon. So Caleb, as you're searching for a potential way up, you hear heavy footfalls, and you kind of panic for a brief moment before you see Gil and Morgan, Neon's mech, step into your limited cloud of view with the snow. As Gil, you kind of contemplate the logistics of getting yourself up there as Morgan stretches up, rears back, and almost like a brachiosaurus trying to knock something down. Neon, via Morgan, make me a strength check.
Strength check. Ooh, that I can do. Here, let me double check what Morgan's stats are with regards to that.
Don't
Oh,
roll
hell
a
yeah.
one.
Hell yeah, let's fucking do it. Just straight strength check?
Yes.
All right. 21, 18 plus 3.
Morgan rears back and leans forward with a metallic groan as those of you still in the house feel the entire building shake as Morgan slams their front weight against the building. And you can see
I just start
visible...
screaming.
We're under attack!
And Neon, you see visible cracks form, but you do not break all the way through. However, because you have all of the onboard technology of Morgan, I will say that you're able to pick up that from just the like a sort of seismic tremor of that impact. The second floor isn't hollow. It's just nothing but stone all the way through.
All right. Well.
Why would he make a house like that?
Wouldn't that like collapse?
What?
No, I'm more so just like, all right, guys, this is gonna be the ultimate prank. Okay, make me an attic. Forget this. There's
Nothing.
no attic.
attic.
It's just more
Fill
cement.
it with fucking cement.
What a
I will remind you guys that this is the same lunatic who had a shrine to his not actually a goddess blocking the hallway that goes into his bedroom.
No, you make a good point. I just find it fucking hilarious and just its absurdity. Like, imagine going to like the H.H. Holmes murder mansion only to find that there's like 3 stories where there's actually nothing, just cement. What an asshole this guy is.
Tickled, man.
Well, see, Caleb doesn't know that, so he's going to try to clamber up the Mac to use it as a boost.
All right.
Nice, that was fun.
I'll say, Neon, you would know that Caleb's trying to climb up. Are you going to let this happen?
Not only am I gonna let this happen, I'm going to tell him, "Oi, I just weakened this wall here. Maybe if you dive full force into it, you might knock through it."
Wow.
Caleb's like, I'm not that dumb.
I will
Just gotta
say,
try though.
Lucian, what I'll say, that probably would have worked on Gil.
I'm gonna say at that point, Gil's going, "Oh, really?" And he's gonna try.
Alright.
I kind of gesture like, see?
Is
No.
Gil going to climb up the Mac and go ram his face into the wall?
Gil, is this what...
Face, no. Shoulder, yes.
Okay, noted. So
I'm going to headbutt you. I'm going to headbutt you. I'm going to headbutt you.
I will say, for Caleb's benefit, though, you do see that Morgan is a rather tall and long mech, with Morgan still propped up against the house after slamming the weight of their legs into it. You could, in theory, use Morgan as a springboard to get yourself onto the roof, if you wanted to. Since you're already up here.
Yeah, that's what I intended to do.
Alright. Neon, are you willing to assist Caleb with this?
Nah, he doesn't get no. Nah, I'm kidding. Sure, he can do that.
Alright, so no roll necessary then. Gil, make me a acrobatics check.
Acrobatics check?
Yeah.
23.
Alright. Gil, Neon, you kind of just fight not to laugh to yourself as you feel Gil's much heavier weight than Caleb start climbing up onto the front part of Morgan's chassis. As Caleb, you scurry down Morgan's arm and start climbing up onto the rooftop balcony. And Gil, seeing the cracks in the wall, you kind of crack your knuckles and slam, and all of you hear this rather amusing in its own way sound of meat hitting stone. And Gil, as you fall down into the snow, you take 6 bludgeoning damage from the fall.
I think Caleb, since you're on board, if you can.
Lucy, I get off.
Well.
And Neon, you were saying?
Caleb, since you're on Morgan, you can hear just kind of like vaguely muffled through the walls. Just you can hear somebody just absolutely losing their mind with laughter.
Caleb just, as he's climbing, just takes a look down at Gil and just shakes his head.
And Caleb, from your angle, you can actually see that Gil has formed a Gil-shaped crater in the snow.
Did I bust through?
I thought you were gonna say.
Did.
I thought you were gonna say he made a gill-shaped hole in the wall.
Yeah, there's like a small gill-shaped dent in the wall, like Looney Tunes.
And Caleb, as you clamber up onto the roof, you see that it's almost this like the roof doesn't taper upwards into a triangular pyramid-like structure like most roofs do. It's simply a flat, almost creating this sort of somewhat off-kilter rectangular shape for the house in general. And looking around on the balcony, there doesn't actually appear to be anything up here, although looking around, you do see some metal pythons driven into the left side of it that appear to have once held either a ladder or some kind of structure to allow entry up here, but has since been removed in whatever evacuation process went down.
Can I search
Make
around
sure-
up here for anything of note?
Make sure
Make
to
an
get that
investigation check.
Yeah, make sure, if we're gonna get anything, getting that ladder.
Yeah, dude, ladders are important. What if you need to climb up somewhere high that you couldn't maybe climb up on a mech to get to?
Okay, that's gonna be 16.
All right, Caleb, you search the rooftop balcony carefully. What's up, Lucy?
I was just gonna ask, is there any part of this house that has not been investigated that I can, use my time to do?
Not that you can tell. Caleb's already given the outside the once-over as far as you know, and is also currently on the roof, has searched the kitchen twice. You and Zephyr have both searched the dining room. Neon, Gil, and yourself searched the bedroom, and the hallway has been given a once-over multiple times by multiple groups.
There's no books, right?
Yeah,
There's no
they're not
books,
even
right?
really any bookshelves. Again, this was a very bare-bones living quarters. And Caleb, searching the rooftop. Initially, you don't find anything and are kind of disappointed, but after a moment, you do actually find what you initially dismissed as probably part of the structure or just some debris. You find a relatively lightweight, what feels almost like a metal tube with grips on either end. And as you kind of give it an experimental shake, you kind of startles. There's a as not a ladder, but a reclining lightweight chair unfurls from the tube.
Hey. Got a reclinable chair.
It's a deployable chair.
Yes. You may add a deployable reclining chair to your inventory.
Well, an actual
Now-
item in
It
the
is not.
game?
As far as I'm aware, I completely made it up. I mean, it was inspired by the real life garbage equivalent, but
Garbage, so it's not,
Oh,
not
well.
comfortable.
I've sat on those things. It sucks.
There's some
Dude.
okay ones.
Dude,
I'll let
this
you
is
guys
perfect
make
for-
the custom item for that, and Caleb will just put it in his bag of holding for now.
All
Dude,
right.
it's perfect for whenever Gil is about to do something ridiculous. You have something to sit in and eat popcorn.
I'd be lying if I said that didn't at least cross my mind while putting that item there.
Now Caleb has the issue if he's got to climb down. Is
Yeah.
Morgan still there?
Yeah, I was gonna say, Neon, are you willing to help Caleb down?
Yeah, I guess.
All right, and Caro, as the only one still in the house, are you gonna head outside with Raccoon and Theta and rejoin the group?
Yes.
Alright.
There's nothing from here.
So, Caro, Garo, Raccoon, and Theta, after hearing the vibrations, the screaming, the laughter, and some metallic creaking as Caleb, you simply hop onto Morgan's arm as Neon, you bring your mech down into a slightly smaller postured hunched position to allow Caleb access to the ground as Gil starts clambering out of the gill-shaped hole in the snow. And Caro, as you and your compatriots rejoin the party, you all are outside in the blizzard. The house, as far as you can tell, has been searched top,
So-
bottom, multiple times, and has gotten a seismic investigation. And you guys appear to have found everything you can, as far as you can tell.
So,
Caleb is going
are we
to
being
look
our
at
way?
the snow, and he's going to get a bunch of it in his hand, and he's going to start forming a ball with it.
All right,
Oh.
Caleb, you start forming a snowball. The rest of you.
Where's Zephyr?
What? Zephyr for what?
Zephyr is.
Let's
Because
get the
this is something
fuck
that
out
a kid
here.
would probably do to his brother.
Zephyr, what are you doing?
And he's just outside, just like, well, seems like we're about to leave, so.
Caleb is going to throw the snowball at Zephyr.
Make an improvised weapon attack roll. Just dexterity, not proficiency.
He's not trying to hurt him with it.
Well, I mean, still
Just
attack.
to see if you hit him. Yeah,
Yeah,
just to see if you
still
just to see if you hit him. Yeah.
A harmless
Well,
attack.
do I get a plus to that?
Well, your dex.
Your dexterity, but not your proficiency, so just +3.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
Just
improvised.
quote.
I hope it either hits or nat ones.
It kill. Yeah.
That's gonna be. I don't know if that's gonna be enough. That's gonna be a 14.
Zephyr, does that hit you?
That does not.
Well, I'll say because I believe it comes fairly close. You feel
I have a
like
17.
I thought it was 16 for some reason.
Can you just say it misses and hits somebody else?
That's me.
Zephyr, you hear a very it's light and not like overly startling, but you feel something whiz past your head and land in the snow a bit of a distance ahead of you.
Caleb is doing the act natural act.
The act natural.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess coming from the direction looking at, probably Caleb, 'cause it's as he tries to act natural. She's just gonna give a sigh and just. So, does that include our business? Are y'all happy to leave now?
Caleb's gonna form another ball.
I
but he's not
am
gonna throw it
more
at
than
Zephyr
happy
this
to
time.
leave.
And I was gonna say, can you make a giant snowball?
Giant.
You can make
snowball?
a regular snowball.
Caleb's gonna form
Okay.
another snowball, and this time he's gonna throw it at Lucian.
Okay.
Can I use
I was
Morrigan to
gonna
help
say-
make a giant snowball?
We in a snowball fight? What's going on?
Sure, Gil.
Caleb's probably been thinking about this since he walked into the snow.
Like when I say a giant snowball, I mean like I want to make how the size of the head of on a snowman.
Oh, okay. Yeah, easy enough to do. Although if you're intending to throw it, only Morgan would be able to.
No, I'm not throwing it. I'm just going to plop it down on somebody's head.
All right. You won't be again. It's going to be a big thing of snow, almost the size of your torso. It's not going to be able to hold its form with you holding it unless Morgan.
No,
lets
it's-
it.
Torso?
It's
How
only
big of a
gonna be like
head?
foot.
Yeah.
How big of a head does a snowman have?
That's fair. I figured they were fairly sizable.
It depends on the snowman.
It's only gonna be like a foot.
Yeah, you,
all
can,
right.
you can pack snow tight enough to have it hold its form reasonably.
Fair enough. All right, I'll say Caleb, make the same attack roll against Lucian, and Gil, who are you going after?
Like we would know.
Lucian.
All right,
Lucy's
Yeah.
being attacked for 2
and
points.
Gil, make a improvised melee attack at disadvantage because again, it's a relatively big improvised weapon.
Okay.
So basically, Caleb Dex, Gil Strength at disadvantage.
I rolled a 16.
Lucian, what's your AC?
16.
All right, and Gil, you?
My AC is 16.
18.
Fuck me.
I'll say, Caleb, where are you aiming?
He's just kind of aiming in general to kind of. He's not like aiming anywhere in particular. He's just trying to put it on her.
Okay. Lucian, as you agree with Zephyr that your business here is concluded, you feel a impact against your face, and a bunch of snow, ice, and water as you kind of spit and like rub some of it off of your face, and see Caleb with his palms covered in snow. As almost immediately after, your vision goes completely dark, as with Morrigan's assistance, Gil just plops a snowball bigger than your head over your head, and you are drenched from head to toe in water, ice, and snow.
Hey, GM.
What's up?
Oh my goodness!
I want to
Oh my goodness!
get in. I want to take Morrigan, and like get some distance between me and the rest of the group, and then basically come sprinting back and like skid through the snow to like try and create a wave that hits everybody.
Sure.
Like imagine like a car driving through a puddle on the road.
Yeah.
Splashes.
Sure, it's harmless. I'll allow it. I would like everyone to please make me a dex save.
So Lucian is not looking very happy. She is covered in snow.
Oh,
she is covered in
Well, here's the
liquor.
thing. Here's the thing, Lucian.
She is looking a mess.
Here's the thing. We can't see your face. You're covered in snow, so you don't know.
I have a 16.
All right. Zephyr, Caro?
What kind of
Dex
is this?
Dexterity.
I think math.
Do you think that if they have snow on their face, do you think they need to make you a disadvantage?
I won't go that far, but maybe if this is a more serious situation, but...
23.
All right. Caro?
Yeah, wait, I should have dice coming in today.
Gil, Lucian?
Nat 1.
No.
All right, noted.
I got a 16.
Okay.
I got a
Caro, start one more time.
I got a 6.
All right.
Oh, poor frog.
You all watch as Lucian just like cleans themselves off. The bulk of you either in hysterics or just enjoying the spectacle as Neon, you start to creep away with Morrigan. And Zephyr just kind of observing offhandedly. You watch as Morrigan gets kind of bends back a bit, circles around, and then starts to make a bull rush towards the party. And you just walk casually a bit of a distance away. And Lucian and Caleb, you see it coming enough to start dodging out of the way. As Gil, you turn from your laughter to see the massive quadrupedal mech skidding to a stop. And Caro, you are drenched in ice and snow and freezing cold, but as you kind of shake your head and get the snow off of your eyes, you see a pile of snow with Gil's face just kind of sticking out of the front.
Well, I had that coming.
So Lucian is going to just dust herself off. She's gonna like wipe her face, and she is just angry looking. She's just gonna be like, "I thought we were leaving. We need to get out of this. We're not children."
Speak for yourself.
I want to kick at the snow to basically kick some snow at Lucian.
Make an improvised ranged attack.
I think the Icar Beast hit us a little too hard, apparently.
And one more time, Gil.
I want to try to get out of the snow pile.
As you start kind of like straining your muscles, you can't.
Oh.
17 DM.
Guys!
And Lucian, as you make this declaration, Morrigan just kind of almost with all the causality of a bulldozer, of one of those like claw construction vehicles, just scoops some snow and gives you a fresh coating. And as you kind of sputter and wipe your face off, another snowball strikes you in the face, and you kind of whip around and see Theta just kind of sitting there drooling.
Wow. Why?
You're all of you.
Guys, I'm stuck.
Cool. Okay, let's go.
Caleb goes into his barracks, hearing that he's
I'm half tempted to leave you there.
Oh my god.
Am I going to take damage from this?
Listen, I'm enjoying myself, but Lucian is so mad.
Because I've only got 5 health left.
Gil's.
Is anyone gonna? Yeah, is it?
Step on Gil and push him further. No, I'm kidding.
You gonna help him out?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and just like scoop my foot underneath him and just like.
Gil, you are
great.
You are gracefully scooped free from the snow, and you feel the pressure on your muscles relinquish. You are no longer the snow guardian of the snow, with Freya quivering before you.
Caleb just looks to Lucian, who's mad, and he's just gonna grab a little bit of the snow and he's gonna sprinkle it. Like, you need to cool down.
Well, now got him.
Oh my goodness. Thanks.
Lucian's going to look at Caleb, and she's going to walk over to him. Very, 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 very calmly. And she's going to bend down to his level.
Not that much. So
Reach down to the snow. Reach down to the snow. Grab a handful for herself. Smush it into his hair. Smush it into his hair.
Caleb, your hair and face is immediately drenched in cold as Lucian just tousles a handful of snow into your hair.
And a smile crosses her face. A smile crosses her face. I may be a stick in the mud a lot of the times, but I do know how to have fun.
Oh god.
Caleb's like, yay!
Theta kind of like leans side to side, almost like a metronome, and you all watch as snow begins to swirl around them. Less the kind of aggressive and hostile way it had when you all had first met, and more this like almost like a snow globe, this beautiful.
Oh my god, is it gonna make a massive wave of snow to hit us all with?
At the moment, they just seem almost entranced by the glittering of the crystal and snowflakes swirling around them.
Yeah, at this point, DM, can I look around and make sure that we're still alone?
Make a perception check with disadvantage because Blizzard.
Yeah, fuck Blizzard. Fuck them and their fucking fuck.
30-20.
Alright. Gil, take a moment to brush some of the ice and water off of yourself. You look around and you kind of squint and keep an ear out. You appear to be alone. Nothing but the howling of the wind and the continued pelting of snow.
I love that Theta threw a snowball.
Let's get out of here, shall we?
Okay.
Yeah.
Going home.
Yes, Theta, we're going home. Yes, Theta, we're going home.
I kind of tassel Caleb's hair.
Alright. You all collect yourselves. Much colder than when you had entered, but a small bit of wholesome light brought into a rather tense adventure and tense group of people to be adventuring with. As you all gather your
glad I
things.
chose to do that.
Yeah. Gather your things and new gold and possessions in tow.
But as we walking, there's still one person who didn't get snow.
Nope. And he doesn't plan to get snow.
Caleb is gonna try one more time to get Zephyr with some snow.
Zephyr, are you expecting it?
I'll say not exactly. He assumed everyone was done with their comfortably.
Alright. Improvised ranged attack.
Okay. Well, if that didn't work right, it hit something. I wanna do a clean roll. That's going to be, I get +3, 17.
That's a hit. Zephyr, as the group starts making their way finally back to the city, back to relative peace and quiet, you feel something icy cold slam against the back of your head.
Caleb's just snickering that he finally got him.
Zephyr does
This
not.
time, Lucian laughs.
Zephyr, especially if it's the back of the head, he's going to do nothing and just keep walking.
All right. With Caleb's freshest victory and a relatively long line of them now, you all start making your way back, crossing the freezing, snowy cavern, back through the stinking livestock containment, through the previously airlocked but no longer hallway, and back into the central terminal area of the bottom floor laboratories. Is there anything you guys would like to do here, or are you gonna start making your way back to the entrance?
Caleb wants to leave.
Yeah, like,
Yeah, let's make our way back.
Are we close to the towers? Should we make contact with your superior one last time before we leave?
for what?
Yeah, we've already told them everything.
To tell him that we are leaving?
That's
I
not
think they'll just expect us to get there when we get there.
Even then, they should. If they're on their way, we'll meet them halfway. Not whatever. They don't need us here.
I shrug. It was just a thought.
Alright. You all climb up the submersible ladder, out the broken quarantine lock, down the freezing hallway, still hearing the musical din of Subject Delta's discordant flip-flopping melody, back into the entrance hall. Theta kind of looking around with a slight kind of drooling and gasping grimace as they seem to kind of intake that this might be their last time seeing this place. As finally, you guys go back down the hallway you had come through, and cautiously, almost like you're half expecting something to stop you, you open the entrance doorway and are back in the front garden area where you had confronted the scarecrow Icarbeast. You all step out into the caverns. You gonna start making your way back across the frozen lake?
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, I still have his arm and leg, right? The neck part.
Yes.
Okay, just making sure I still have that.
Yeah. You grabbed the whole skeleton, so those came with it. All right. You all start making your way. Are you going to make your way slowly across the frozen lake, or are you going to go your normal pace? You would all know from your first time crossing that crossing it quickly will obviously be faster, but pose the risk of falling in. Whereas crossing it slowly will take longer, but almost guarantee that you won't have to fall in.
Caleb doesn't see any reason to rush at this moment, so
Yeah.
we'll take it.
Yeah, I
carefully.
think slow and steady is probably best.
Caro, Gil, Zephyr?
I will go slow and steady.
Still
Yeah,
debating.
because, you know.
I'm debating.
No point risking fucking it up at the very end.
Let's see.
Unless you're a very impatient kobold.
Hey, look. You're not a cold blood.
Hey, Caleb gave you a blanket.
In a blizzard. I mean, blanket's gonna help a little bit, but it's a blizzard. I mean, he wants to get out of this stupid cold. He wanted to get out of it for a while. Yeah, he will go with the party at their pace, slow as it may be.
All right. Zephyr.
He'd be really cold if he broke through the ice and fell in the ice water.
He's got you there. Zephyr, freezing cold and impatient, your body becoming sluggish and slow, and your eyes drooping. You keep pace with the party as you all slowly make your way across the ice water. Using the railroad tracks as a guideline and point of stability, you cross slow but steadily. Make your way across the ice lake, back on the snowy, rocky coastline, and assuming you guys don't have any reason to go off course, Lucian, between your keen mind and the group's just ability to remember it since it wasn't too long ago, you guys should easily enough be able to make your way back the way you had already come and get back to the tunnel network, if that is what you wish to do.
Don't see no reason to stay.
Yeah, I will remember perfectly how to get out.
Remember perfectly. Debatable.
All right. Lucian taking the lead to guide the group along via keen mind. You all trudge through the snow once more, using the same methods of warmth that you had on the first trip. Caro clinging to Garrow, Neon within your mech, Zephyr with Caleb's blanket wrapped around you, Raccoon using Gil as a shield, and Theta just kind of looking around in just this like kind of dull amazement, seeing the outside of the lab for the first time in a decade. As you all make your way across the tundra, back to the mouth of the tunnels, you start winding your way back through the frozen ichor-stained caverns, past the tunnelway where you had fought the two ichor beasts in the tunnels, where Caro, you remember one of them was identified post-mortem as, at least in part, having once been a Lovelander. You work your way back through the tunnels, the cold slowly starting to ease up as you get out of the closest depths of it, and finally back at the cavern where you had started, the somewhat small, smooth-bored, drilled tunnel that gave the Smithers Coal Company entrance into this tunnel network. One by one, Neon outside of your mech, Zephyr, Caleb, and Lucian having to duck very slightly, and Gil having to crawl. You all start making your way back through the smooth-bored tunnels, finally escaping the ice tunnels. Finally, as you all furl out, Zephyr, relief palpable, and Caro, the same for you, as the two of you are finally out of the breath of the cold. Only the very slight ambient chill this close to the tunnel remaining. As Theta is the last to exit, having to basically like crawl on their belly to fit through the tunnel, as they slowly form behind all of you and kind of look over all of your shoulders as all of you stand up and dust yourselves off, still wet and a little chilly with your wet clothes. As Neon, you hear the familiar voice of the man who had once been your captain. Officer Neon!
Aye.
You all see Captain Voter, armed as he had been when you met him for the first time at the entrance to Edict, followed by a armed-to-the-teeth squad of peacekeepers, as all of them immediately reach.
Aren't you a sort of for
Yeah, I was
sunrise?
gonna have Caleb say to Neon, you might want to tell them to not freak out.
Not freak out.
We already communicated that there was.
He already gave him the heads up about Theta. And sure enough, while you see some of the peacekeepers instinctively go for their crossbows, Voter holds up a hand. Stand down, stand down. I'm assuming this is your friend, Officer Neon?
That's right. He was nothing but helpful to us.
And Theta vomits Iker in front of their feet.
So
He does that sometimes.
I can see why you gave us the heads up for a biohazard. Speaking of which, that arrangement has been made with the commissioner. If you like, perhaps Theta could act as a guide for my team and I. We'll clear what remains of these caverns and get Theta to their temporary home. And he kind of pauses and looks over his shoulder at the other peacekeepers. The rest of this conversation is off the record. And you see all the Peacekeepers slowly nod. Neon, you know that everyone at the Peacekeepers has an immense respect for Captain Voter.
So
And he...
I want to make an insight check.
Go for it.
All right. That will be 21.
Zephyr, you kind of squint a bit, and it's because of his ever-perpetual gas mask, you can't actually see Voter's face. However, from his tone and movements, he seems relatively sincere, basically offering to escort Theta personally, Theta acting as a guide through the facility and tunnels for the Peacekeepers, and they will be delivered to the Commissioner, who seems to, as far as you can tell, Voter seems to genuinely believe that there is a containment unit ready that will keep Theta safe and under careful observation until you all decide what to do.
Yeah, just be patient with him. He's a little slow, but he's a good man.
I'll trust my officer's judgment and your own. But for our off-the-record conversation, Officer Neon, I'm going to take a guess here and say that you didn't find this place and pursue this investigation completely of your own initiative.
That's right.
Right. By the time you're meeting with someone, he kind of you can't see it, but you can tell he's kind of giving a very slight smile behind the mask. Concludes, you may visit Peacekeeper headquarters, where if we haven't returned already, we should have at least prepared the containment area, and you can feel free to look it over yourself, or you can simply make arrangements, and your party will be free to do as you wish. You've done us all a great service with this investigation, even if your methods of finding it weren't exactly on the up and up. He kind of gives a bit of a shrug. I'm not one to judge. While I'm not exactly in a position of authority to give you a medal or anything, the Peacekeepers thank you for your service to the city, and your friends' information will be greatly useful in furthering this investigation. For now, have your meeting and take a bit of a break. I think you've all earned it. Thank you for your service. And he gives you all a somewhat awkward salute.
Perhaps, do you have a laboratory that I could maybe spend some time in?
I'll see what I can do. We don't exactly... Well, there is the forensics lab, I suppose. I'll have a talk with our forensics guy and see what he has to say. In the meantime...
yeah, I'm very interested in chemistry and alchemy, whatever I can get my hands on.
You seem to have an interest in anything you can get your hands on, I've noticed.
She gives a wink.
Like I said, I'll talk to our guy and see what we can do. In the meantime, though, as I said, thank you all for your service, and the Peacekeepers don't have no idea who you're going to meet or why. And he gives you all a nod and gives a over his shoulder and gestures, and the Peacekeepers nod and grip their crossbows as Theta kind of looks over all of you with a somewhat confused...
So we need to explain to him what they want him to do.
Mm-hmm.
So
Carol, you're the closest to him. Do you want to explain to Theta what is going to be expected of him, since you are closest to him?
Yeah, explain to him he has to go back. Good luck, Carol.
Theta turns their attention to you, Caro, and tilts their head to the side.
Oh no.
Voter kind of looks over all of you. I don't know exactly what went down between your new friend here and yourselves. If they're not comfortable returning to that facility, we're not going to force them. It would just be helpful to have someone who knows their way around and knows what to expect. But Officer Neon was already kind enough to give me a sit rep. We can always rely on that and improvise the rest.
Oh, wait. We have a map.
Oh, do we have
Also, I do have the blueprints memorized. If you have any kind of paper or pencil, I can draw it for you.
I believe we have it on a USB.
Neon, do you want to give the USB you would salvage to your captain?
Yes, I will.
Voter takes it and kind of looks over all of you. Now, is this evidence or a personal gift? And he kind of nods to you in particular, Neon.
It's 53 terabytes of pornography. No, it's a map.
and some other stuff.
He kind of pats you on the shoulder. I'm gonna miss having you as a cadet. All right, come on, men, move out.
It's like pornography. No, it's a map.
And the peacekeepers start entering their prone position to start crawling their way through the tunnels as Theta kind of watches them go and looks to you again, Caro. Follow you.
I thought he was gonna say fuck.
I mean, I did have something I thought Caleb would. Thought about having Caleb ask me on what's that after he said 52 terabytes of pornography. You know what?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it.
No.
Caleb asked him, what's that?
One of life's most alluring voices.
And
that's
Caro?
it. That's all he leaves it at.
Caro, do you say anything in response to Neon? Or in response to Theta, sorry?
I was like, what did Neon say? It's like, yeah, we'll get you home, or at least where we can.
Okay.
Is Theta going to come with us to go see you know who? Because I don't think that they would like him in their house.
I don't think the city
He
would
is
like
kind of
him in
messy.
there
No offense,
defending.
Theta.
Ouch!
Okay.
Neon's in
got
pain.
Yeah, I just spilled a hot ember onto my leggy.
Oof, brutal.
Oof,
good?
ouchie. Yeah, I'm good. It was just like it just touched my leg and fell off. But ouch, my bone.
Alright, so
Yeah, I don't think Theta's going to be able to follow us into the city to see the brokers.
Well, I mean, he has to get into the city in order to get to that containment.
To be honest, from what we've learned of the brokers, I don't think we need to bring him to him. I think we could just take him to friggin' containment, and they would know. They would immediately know everything they could possibly know about him because of,
Their resources.
brokers.
Yeah, the resources they have.
Yeah.
So what do you guys want to
know where
do?
the containment is?
At Peacekeeper HQ.
Which is
Gil
go
wants
through.
to change back in his regular clothes. He's going to go off somewhere so he can change in privacy. And then he wants to bring his winter outfit and see if he can't disguise Theta a little bit using it.
It's fucking Looney Tunes Scooby-Doo.
While he's doing that, Lucian, I'm gonna just kind of look at him, and I'm just gonna be like, Gil, no, I don't.
Well, we don't want people causing panic.
Well, here's the thing, Gil. He's kind of a huge monster.
Theta
No
violence.
offense, Theta. I like you. No offense, Theta. I like you, and you're, helpful and stuff. But you are a monster. Yes, but here's some rules. Don't take anything from anybody, and don't talk to anybody you don't know. And if somebody tells you that you are big and scary, you tell them to go fuck themselves.
It's like stranger danger.
Yes, but here's some rules. Don't take anything from anybody, and don't talk to anybody you don't know. And if somebody tells you that you are big and scary, you tell them to go fuck themselves.
It's like stranger danger. It's like stranger danger. It's like stranger danger. It's like stranger danger.
So I guess we gotta go get the peacekeepers, and they'll bring some way to transport him to the.
And
Right.
if you get in danger, go back to the cave and hide.
Hey DM,
What's up?
could
And just
Theta
hide.
could Theta just climb up on top of Morrigan and just chill there?
In theory.
Okay, cool. Oi Theta, do you think you could crawl on top of Morrigan and just kind of chill there?
Always cold.
Oh yeah, your mech will be cold then.
And Theta kind of clambers, leaving just a trail of sticky ink as they slowly, kind of their form liquidifying as they clamber on top of your mech, and just kind of almost like taking on a frog-like posture, although you can't tell if that's just normal for them or if it's a deliberate imitation of Caro on Garo. As they enter like an almost frog-like posture, just forming this sort of like shell of ichor around Morrigan as their ink drips down the sides and
Well, now it just looks like his mech is very dirty.
Or leaking.
Yeah. Good enough.
Or both.
I love Theta so much. He's got Joe.
All right. So, are you guys content with this plan then? Are you going to head to the brokers with Theta atop Morgan?
I mean, sure, man.
Are we going
Yeah,
to the brokers
yeah.
or the peacekeepers first?
Going
I was gonna
straight
say
to
go
the
to
brokers.
Peacekeepers.
Just. Do you want to do that first? I mean,
Yeah, that's where he's
kind of
being
seems out of the
stored.
way.
I think it would be better to go ahead and go to the peacekeepers.
Fine.
I'd rather not keep a walking biohazard free in the city if any longer than I have to.
And that way we have more time with
Yeah, you've got the point.
All right.
Look, I'm just tired and I'm cold and I'm wet and I'm sticky.
Let's go
yourself
to the
together.
peacekeepers.
All right.
It's like we're getting our signals mixed.
So, is there anything you guys just of note would like to do on the way to seeing the peacekeepers, or are you just going to head to the peacekeepers to drop off Theta?
Straight to the peacekeepers, drop off Theta.
I think we're just gonna drop off the boy.
All right. So,
Just want him to be a good boy, and
gathering yourselves, you all start the trek back towards the city, since you'd have to go that way either way. You pass the farmhouse where the head of the Reapers stays and brews their concoctions. You pass through the smelly, chemical-addled park that is Reaper territory. People occasionally approaching to make offers, but kind of backing off a little bit when they see the gooey mess atop Morrigan. Almost like they're not sure if it's like a creature or if it's just a leakage that means the mech's about to explode. You guys.
I was gonna say, do we is it leaving a trail behind us?
Slightly, yes. It like drips kind of ambiently off of Morrigan as you go.
So as I see the Reaper people coming out, Gil is going to look at them all and say, "Do not mess with the oil. It will kill you."
You see a particularly heavy-set elf member of the Reapers with several pockmarks on their face from whatever chemicals they're using. Yeah, sure thing, man.
Yeah, they're all gonna be
And if
infected
it
by
doesn't,
tomorrow.
I will come back and kill you myself.
Like they're all gonna be infected by tomorrow.
But I want to make sure that the threat. I want to make sure the threat actually sinks in.
Make an intimidation check.
You're gonna say that to every people we come by, like, no, no.
That's a 23.
All right. The Reapers it seems to work. You gather that again. The assumption seems to be that it's likely an oil leakage, so it seems like the thought probably wouldn't have even occurred to them. But even if it did, it doesn't now. You intimidate them pretty thoroughly, especially since you've already been through here and harassed their people. So they kind of back
You
off.
kind of harassed us first.
And you're able to make your way to the outskirts of Reaper territory without major incident. You cross the cavernous plains that separate Reaper territory from Edict proper and begin to approach the city limits, making your way past the docks into the inner districts of the city. At this time, the city is relatively active. Sort of a mixture of the augmented and non-augmented citizenry.
Of course, we came through at the active time.
Well, a city like Edict is kind of always active. It's just a matter of who's active, and at this point, it's just kind of a mixture of everyone. But again, most people seem to be under the impression that it's just a leakage from Morgan, so they give it a bit of a wide berth, and you can actually see a few augmented janitors start to kind of, with the assistance of security droids, start kind of like mopping up the trail you're leaving. You all make your way through the city unharassed, people seeming to give a bit of a wide berth to the seemingly damaged and destroyed mech. You do catch a few whispers of gossip, people theorizing what kind of fight Morgan must have been in to be damaged that heavily and be leaking oil so brutally. But beyond that, you are left alone, and Caro, you hear a very occasional from Theta as they kind of look around at the shining lights of the city, their head kind of swiveling side to side, but thankfully it seems to be mistaken for just bubbling from onlookers who don't know any better. As you make your way to the elevator that connects Lower and Upper Edict. Stepping in, Neon with your credentials, the elevator begins to rise. After a moment, opening to the brightly crystalline lit sect of Upper Edict, as you all start making your way
All
towards
the
the
Upper
peace.
Edict people are like, oh, how dare they bring such a ghastly machine into this quarter.
Simply ghastly.
Almost immediately, as you guys start heading towards the Peacekeeper headquarters, a few repurposed security droids start like almost instantly mopping up the mess being left behind, keeping the streets clean.
Like Mo from Wall-E.
Yeah, it kind of has that vibe to it. Yeah. But
No,
they give you friendly waves beyond that as you pass. Upper Edict is a lot less crowded. People either staying in their homes for the most part or like just quickly going about their business. Lower Edict is the more like life of the party kind of area. And with a small contingent of cleaning droids behind you, you all make your way to the headquarters. Neon, almost immediately as Lucien and Gil open the gates to allow you entry via Morgan, a small, kind of skinny elven mechanic of the Peacekeepers approaches with a wrench in hand. Whoa! Boy, Morgan's been through the ringer, hasn't she?
Not quite. In fact, she's barely got a scratch on her.
Officer Neon, he kind of looks to the rest of you like, is Neon good? But
to talk to your leader.
Oh, this is classified business, is it? All right. Well, seriously though, Neon, you might want to take Morgan into the shop sometime.
At least for cleaning.
Morgan's fine.
I'll explain later.
All right. I will say, Neon, Morgan is not going to be able to fit going into the elevator up to the commissioner's headquarters. Are you willing to have Theta accompany you on foot?
So,
I'm trying to remember if we were told where the fuck they would be setting up containment at.
Uh,
'Cause I don't believe we were.
Yeah, well, you had very limited communication. They just said they would, and that it was at Peacekeeper HQ, and that was it.
Caleb's just gonna be like, maybe you should just go up there and get your boss, and then we'll wait down here. And he'll tell us where to go next.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Mm-hmm.
It's not a bad idea. Alright then, can I trust you to not destroy the place when I step out of the room for 5 minutes?
Oh, I think we'll be fine.
Are you sure?
Don't worry.
Caleb just like gives him like a look, like gives him like the oh me look, like oh I never.
Oh, I never.
Lucian gives them the finger.
The middle finger.
If I see one hair out of place in Morrigan, I'll have all of your heads. And I
Morgan
get out and
doesn't
step
have
in.
hair though.
I'm going to kill him. I'm going to kill him with my
The
hands.
boy has a point.
I'm going to just wordlessly get out
The
of
boy
Morrigan and
has a
step into
point.
the elevator.
All right.
Just ignoring everything else they say.
All right.
While Neon is away, do any of you have anything you
Okay.
important that you'd like to do?
The moment the doors,
I set the house on fire.
well,
No, I'm just kidding.
the moment the doors close, Zephyr's going to proceed to just get out. Zephyr's
All right,
going
you have a destination in mind?
the brokers.
Why? You're not the one who has the information.
Well, they have the information already. It's not like we're giving them the information. They already have it.
He has a point.
Like, he doesn't say
Why
anything. He
can't
just
you wait
leaves.
for the rest of us?
Well, he doesn't say where he's going. He just leaves.
Do I see him?
I mean, yeah, he's not being stealthy.
Do
he
I
just
see him
leaves.
leave?
Yeah, he's just walking away.
You don't
Zephyr walks away.
necessarily know where he's going.
Could I
so-
just turn around and be like, yeah, could I just turn around and be like, where are you going?
Business.
Are you going to talk to
I cross my
someone?
arms. You're going to the brokers, aren't you?
That and a
You
couple
think
of...
that you can go and think you can get information from them without us? Who do you
Yes.
think you? Who do you
Yes.
think you are?
Well, I leave for 30 seconds.
It's like...
I imagine the mechanic in the background's just like watching this.
Yeah, but, well, I have other business I need to do.
Honestly, Zephyr, you can't wait. You cannot wait 20 minutes for us to drop off poor Theta, and then we will go.
I have other
You've waited
business.
this long. Why can you not wait?
Because
What other business?
like I said, I have other business.
What other business?
That's for me to deal with.
No, what other business?
He kind of just thinks to himself and
Because
just...
the way that I see it right now, Zephyr, is that you have been with us since the beginning. You, me, and Gil. And, you know, I don't know why you stay with us. Maybe it's because of Caleb, or maybe it's because you find some kind of worth in I don't know what it is about us that makes you want to stay. But I still do not trust you. And I am getting very irritated right now with you because you cannot wait 20 tops. 20 minutes? We all want to go. We all have questions, Zephyr. It is not fair for you to just walk the fuck out.
And what reason is that not fair? And what reason would I need
like a
you
Jew-
guys there to
Yes.
ask my question? Hmm? And
Like
on
I
topic
said,
of
we
trust,
all
how
have
can
our
I trust you?
questions. What have I done for you to not trust me?
Well, I could think of a few things, like, you...
What have I done?
Hmm,
She
I mean,
waits.
out of all of us here, you are the one with the most connections to the so-called, Concord.
I did not know that my brother was involved until I did not know that he was involved until he told me that he was involved.
And what about your father?
True.
Yes, and what about your father, Zephyr?
I'm not saying
That's
you
a good point. Thank you, Gil.
I'm not saying you should trust me. Frankly, I'm just going to get my answers done. You don't need to be there when I get my answers done, so I'm going to go
I
ahead.
don't care about your answers, Zephyr. I don't care about you. I don't care about your answers.
Then why are you
I
having a
just care that
problem?
you are leading the rest of us because you cannot wait with the rest of the team. We are all waiting, Zephyr. We are all wanting to do the same thing that you are. I do not understand why you cannot wait with the rest of us. He is less impatient than you are, and he is way less younger than you. Why can you not be more like Caleb?
Me and Caleb are two different people. So, if you don't mind,
Obviously.
I'm gonna be on my way.
I do mind, actually. No, I won't let him.
Skulking in a corner somewhere right now. If
he tries to leave, If he tries to leave, I will do something.
You'll do something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gil would like to look at Zephyr and say, "Will you please wait? She's giving me a headache."
Not even because you want me to stay, just you just want her to.
Can you blame me?
But I would like to get this done as soon as possible. Frankly, I don't care what happens to our little Icker friend, frankly. And
do you not think that we all have the same feeling that you have, Zephyr? We all feel the same way. We all have questions. We all have desires.
If you felt the same way I did, we wouldn't be having the friend we do have now. But
I'm not talking about the. I am talking about the brokers.
Well, like I said, I have questions and I would like to get that done now.
So do I.
And
so do I.
And you can ask.
But you don't see me leaving everybody here high and dry.
Okay. Before I leave, let me answer me this. What would me staying here? What would me coming with you with the group do?
Make sure you get there safely and without getting lost.
Safely
and without getting lost.
I mean, I could take care of myself, and I've been there. I can probably navigate.
I think that you are looking at it in the wrong perspective, Zephyr. You are looking at it in this perspective of what can you gain. What can you gain? Gain. That's all you want. That's all you are about. But I think that you need a better perspective than that, Zephyr. What about making friends? You've been with me and Gil this whole time. We barely know you. You have betrayed us twice, and we still are willing to sacrifice our lives.
What?
We are listening.
What did I
We are
betray twice?
listening. Listen. We are willing to stick our necks out. We are willing to stick our necks out for you, for your brother, for this team. And you cannot be bothered to make friends with us? With any of us?
Something like that.
It is not about what you can gain. It is not about what you can gain.
Debatable on that fact.
I think that is very selfish. No, it's not debatable. It's selfish. That's what it is. And honestly, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of seeing you selfish.
Not tired of you.
So you know what? Go. I don't care. I don't care about you. I don't care about your stupid questions. Just go. And she turns around.
Zephyr shrugs and he leaves. Okay. Finally.
Alright.
How long has it been? I want to see if we wasted enough time to get Neon back down here.
Let's find out. Officer Neon. As the doors shut behind you, and unbeknownst to you, the group instantly devolving into chaos.
God. I left like 10 seconds ago. You start tearing each other apart.
Lucy's yelling at Zephyr. Gil is like, please just stop. Caleb is like crying in a corner.
Wow.
He's getting sick of this too.
Oh boy, what a time.
Neon?
Hang on.
I'm
Hey,
sorry.
Neon, we can kill them both.
I'm sorry.
Neon, you start making your way through headquarters.
The sad part is, it might actually improve party relations if they did kill them both.
You pass through the cafeteria. The peacekeepers about having lunch at this time. A few of them giving you friendly waves and salutes as you pass, having no idea that you just got back post-mission.
With a beastie to end all beasties.
You make your way to the elevator and start heading up towards the commissioner's office.
I feel like it's long enough for him to walk away.
As the elevator doors open and you step out with your small little feet, you make your way down the hall into the large office of the commissioner, who sits at his desk and kind of swerves around as you enter and kind of breathes an almost visible sigh of relief and stands up. You can see that they're dressed in a more formal military jacket, less the kind of traditional armaments of the peacekeepers. Almost the type of thing you would wear for a parade rather than actual like armor. And as you enter, they give you a nod. Glad to see you made it back in one piece, officer.
It's good to be back, sir.
All right. He kind of looks over your shoulder and looks back at you. I'm going to guess, judging by the fact that you're alone, you either need something from me in private or he kind of looks to you, almost waiting for you to fill in the gaps for him.
Don't overthink it, sir. I'm here with special cargo. I'm sure you've been made aware of preparations to store a biohazard.
Yes. We've decided to put the containment unit upstairs with me. It's just across the hall. It's a security risk, but this floor is the most secure in the headquarters, and the only one in the most danger in the event of an escape would be myself.
Very well. I'll send the subject up then.
I'll come with you. He kind of pauses and glances to you. I imagine you have business. From what you told me, and what I was able to fill in on my own, I imagine that you have other commitments.
You'd be correct, sir.
Then I'd be happy to deal with it myself. And frankly, in the event that things do go south, and he kind of dabs at his forehead with a handkerchief, I'd rather you and the others not be caught in a crossfire. It's gonna take a bit of explaining to bring the other peacekeepers up to speed. I've made them aware of a potential threat, so everyone's a little on edge.
That's understandable, sir. I'll
Right.
go down and prep the package then.
All right. Yes. Show me where it is, and I'll see that it's delivered.
All right.
You make your way back to the elevator.
Oh, my back.
Make your way down.
It's like the most awkward elevator ride. Just
We need some elevator music.
just like tapping my fingers on the wall. Just
My chair is really squeaky.
The elevator door opens.
WD-40.
And you the two of you step out, and he pats you on the shoulder, Neon, and says, "Go ahead and send them in. I'll bring the peacekeepers up to speed."
Very well.
The door is open, and they find...
Yeah, we'll get there.
3 dead party members.
Neon, as you start heading for the door, you hear the commissioner. "Peacekeepers, attention! We have a high priority package inbound, and I'm going to need everyone to remain calm." And that's the last thing you hear as you open the doors. And as soon as you open the door and start stepping down the stairs, as the doors shut behind you, you see Zephyr making their way towards the gate, Lucian turned away with arms crossed, red in the face with fury, Gil kind of standing awkwardly between the two of them.
And Caleb like skulking in the corner.
Yeah, Caro looking miserable and alone in the corner by the stairs, and Caro and Raccoon and Theta just observing kind of awkwardly in a trio, kind of a distance away.
All right, what happened? I was gone for 5 minutes.
Well, to sum it up for you.
Zephyr is. I don't even want to talk about it.
Enough.
She looks at him like, "Excuse me, bitch."
Excuse me, bitch.
Calm down. And Gil would then look at Neon and say, "Zephyr is ready to go on to the brokers. The rest of us wanted him to wait. He refuses to wait. Tempers got high. The Zephyr has left."
Yeah, and you can see Zephyr making their way down the sidewalk through the fence of Peacekeeper HQ.
That's fine. We'll catch up with him. And I guess I'll take Neon, or not Neon, Theta. Fucking. I'll take Theta.
Nice to meet you, Officer Neon. I'm Officer Neon.
Oh, you're very handsome, Officer Neon.
All right, Theta carefully slogs off of Morgan with Caro and Raccoon next to it.
Is the mechanic still there?
They've been just kind of watching in the corner kind of awkwardly as the group started fighting, and kind of immediately take a visible step back, pale in the face, as Theta kind of slogs off of Morgan and lands in a puddle at the feet of the mech.
Imagine it just lands like a loogie.
And slowly starts to reform their humanoid shape as they look down to you, Neon.
I look over at the mechanic guys. Go, remember, classified.
He nods and gives a very hurried salute before promptly making his way towards the barracks. kind of a good speed walk.
Your mech could use a cleaning now.
Honestly, Lucy completely forgot that he was there.
No,
but like she just didn't care, I guess.
Yeah, emotions were high.
Alright.
I'll go ahead and take Theta over to the commissioner, I guess.
Alright.
I feel like he's going to start doing horrible things, but
Well, I was gonna say, Gil would like to follow, just to make sure that Theta is in good hands when they leave.
Alright. Neon and Gil, the two of you head inside. Zephyr heading towards the elevator, and the rest of you waiting in the garden. Neon and Gil, the two of you enter with Theta in tow, almost like a very tall, monstrous child between the two of you, as it kind of stumbles and trudges, leaving inky footsteps in its wake. As you throw the doors open, and you can hear the commissioner. Officer Neon has worked very hard to make sure this package gets to us safely, and it is our job to make sure it stays safe. This information does not leave the building. And at this point, the three of you round the corner, and you can see the peacekeepers, some visibly kind of lean back in their chairs. You see a few actually instinctively reach for their pistols.
Does someone fall back in their chair?
Not completely, no. You see the commissioner hold up a large, meaty hand to calm the peacekeepers as they look to the two of you with a nod. And he nods to you in particular, Gil. Glad to see you made it back safe.
Relatively.
Gil's like bloody.
He gives a bit of a smile and a shrug.
Well, it's probably dried up by now.
Yeah.
Dry black blood.
Yeah, it still doesn't look good. He gives a bit of a shrug. Well, relatively is still better than how it could have gone. Anyway.
Okay. I didn't even think about that. Gil's just bleeding, like, just has a bunch of black blood on him. He's walking around with just a bunch of black blood.
Remember
from the Icar beast.
Well, and remember, as far as the people of the city know, you've all been in close proximity to a mech that sustained a small engine combustion. Yeah. Like, they just assume that oil splashed on all of you. And Neon and Gil, the commissioner approaches and says,
Caleb didn't even get bloodied, though.
Yeah.
I'm saying, like, for those who did. Approaches the two of you and says, I'd be happy to arrange an escort upstairs for, does it have a name? Theta.
His name is Theta.
I'll be happy to take it from here. I understand that you all have other commitments, and frankly, the paperwork won't be incredibly interesting.
I just would like to judge his reaction to seeing Theta.
Make an insight check.
Part of being a DM is mastering the voice that gives nothing away.
19.
Looking over the commissioner, you see there's an element of fear. Definitely not comfortable around Theta. But they do seem relatively sincere about keeping Theta safe. They just seem abjectly terrified of the beast, and you can see them like visibly kind of sweating and their eyes darting. But beyond that, nothing about them strikes you as overly suspicious, beyond just the fact that they're clearly afraid of it, and just seem kind of uncomfortable and off-put in general.
Well, that's a totally normal response.
So in that case, I'm just going to pat him on the shoulder and say, don't worry, he's on our side.
I should hope so, given that you've been taking him through the city. Theta, was it? Follow me. We'll get you somewhere where you won't be of harm to yourself or anyone else, and I'll get my top people taking a look at you. And Theta kind of looks to Gil and Neon, almost as if like silently requesting permission to follow this strange man.
Yeah, I'll pat Theta on the shoulder and say, I will see you later.
Later. And they look to you, Neon.
We'll try to come check up on you to make sure everything's all right later on.
Later. and start to stumble and trudge towards the commissioner, who, kind of grimacing and sweating, holds out a hand for Theta to take and starts gently guiding them across the cafeteria. The peacekeepers slowly calming down and like watching cautiously as a few of them stand up to form a perimeter to escort the commissioner and the Ichor Beast up towards the elevator.
I thought it's bad to touch them.
Yeah, you guys learned from Theta that it is bad to touch them if you die while in contact with it. The Ichor is not actually harmful if you are not deceased.
Okay.
Interesting.
The reason that it's because you guys gathered from Theta that the reason you saw it spreading at the ball was because the people who were attacked would die in the attack and then have Ichor in their blood that would infect them. But Ichor is not infectious to the living.
Okay, I was about to be like, are we about to have to kill this guy, like euthanize this guy now?
Yeah.
Like, in front of everybody.
Since you said that you told the told voter who would then talk to the commissioner everything and didn't leave anything out, that would have included that information you got from Theta. So.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, so with that,
Neon, let's head back down.
Right.
Also, I want to say,
Zephyr can't use that elevator on his own, anyways.
what do you mean? Use it.
He's not an elf.
Yeah, it's elven DNA or an exception made for Neon specifically.
Oh.
Which I was actually going to bring up when we cut back to Zephyr. So, but first, Neon, Gil, the two of you exit out into the garden, rejoining the group. The rest of you see the two of them emerge, sans Theta. But they seem relatively comfortable, don't seem off-put or unsettled.
So, you saying I can't use the elevator?
It's in good hands.
Yeah. We'll get to you, Zephyr, don't worry.
Zephyr going to jump.
Let's get out of here, shall we?
Any reason.
Alright. Caro, Caleb, are the two of you content to leave as well?
Yeah, Caleb's collected himself now.
Alright.
No.
Alright.
We'll come check on Theta later.
Okay.
And I will swing Raccoon onto my back.
With the party, sans Zephyr regrouped, you all start making your way back to the elevator. Speaking of which, Zephyr, with a roughly 10-minute head start on the group, you start making your way, I presume, towards the elevator. But as you approach and place your hand on the scanner, as you had seen the elves and Neon do before you, it scans before flashing red and buzzing, forbidding you entry.
Yeah, so what I'm getting here is it was a mistake to even come into the building. Okay.
Well, no, this is Upper Edict, not the Peacekeeper HQ specifically.
Wait.
Because remember that it's the central elevator in Edict that separates Upper and Lower Edict, and the brokers are in Lower Edict, so you would need to use the elevator to get to them. But you can't use the scanner without assistance.
I know. Well, I'm assuming there's no window or anything like that. It's just
it's just a massive metal silo-like tube.
Well, I hate
all of that arguing for nothing.
No, I hate to do this, but I would like to hijack the elevator.
Okay. First of all, are you being sneaky about this?
This is probably breaking a few laws.
He's kind of more or less gonna try to go over results over sneaky, so.
Okay.
He just wants to get down.
Alright. You grab your daggers, and the scanner itself is relatively similar to the ones you had already seen. There's not as obvious of a spot to break it, but if you want, you can just start breaking stuff and see what happens.
Vandalism of public property.
Please tell me that we are down the hallway, at least, that we see him.
Apparently it's 10 minutes.
He has a bit of a head start on you, so.
Yeah, 10 minutes or so.
If he gets arrested, we're not gonna help him.
It's hard to hear you, Hunter. You're like, you're...
Oh, sorry.
I will say, just because I think you may have forgotten, Zephyr, you would remember that there is actually stairs to get down. It's just on the other side. Like, it's a much longer walk, like double the length, but there is a set of emergency stairs in the event of elevator failure.
Well,
just because the thought occurred to me that you may not know that.
Yeah, I didn't think about that, but wasn't sure if that was a thing, but...
Or he could just wait like 10 minutes.
Nope. So, I would like to full speed sprint down the stairs.
All right.
He's gonna have to roll for that, right?
Oh no, he's a rogue. He can achieve some pretty good speeds.
Like just
and while he is
downstairs.
sprinting, this isn't a situation where he's being like on a he's only on a self-imposed time constraint. So I would make him roll if he wanted to like slide down the banister or something, but like he's basically just going as fast as he possibly can down the stairs rather than wait for the elevator.
His little legs going.
But he is faster than all of you, so.
Let's imagine he's just hopping down the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's just jumping a couple steps at a time.
All right, so Zephyr, you start making a run towards the stairway on the opposite end of Upper Edict, and about 10 minutes later, the rest of you approach the elevator. Neon. Open the elevator doors and start to make your way down. The doors open, leading into Lower Edict for you guys to make your trip to the broker's docks. And as the doors open and you all step out and start just making your way, you've been there before, you know where to go. This almost like red blur passes by you as Zephyr's just in a dead sprint towards the docks.
Can I put my foot out?
You did. It sounded like you just.
Yeah. You don't see him coming. He literally just runs past you as you're coming out of the elevator, and he's very fast.
I just kind of pinch the bridge.
So I wound
of
up
my
getting down
nose.
there at almost the same
Patient.
time, running at a full sprint.
Because remember, the elevator's large, so it's a little on the slow side.
What are you gonna do?
Could I talk to you guys for a minute before we go to the brokers?
What are you going to talk about? Are we going to talk about murder?
One mic at a time, please.
No, we're going. Oh, sorry. No, we're going to talk about Zephyr.
Okay.
Look, I understand that he is useful to us in times, but from the way that I see it, I don't think that in the long run that he is going to be useful at all, because he is not making any efforts to make friends with most of us. He has maybe made a little bit friendlies with Neon, a little friendlies with Gil. Like, I guess, I don't know. I guess
like you're
what
contradicting
I'm
your own
saying
saying.
Yes, the problem is mostly you.
Not
Do you
wrong.
say that to her though? Do you say that to her though?
I mean, Caleb's just like, he's like, you're saying he doesn't have a problem with everyone but you.
And I don't have a problem with anybody but him.
There you go.
So,
So there needs to be something that.
Jacob, you sound really far away.
Yeah, it's because I was across my room at the time.
So
Go ahead.
maybe we just lock the two of you in a room together, and maybe you can work up passive differences.
no! No!
One mic at a time, please.
Yeah, I couldn't understand him because of the.
Sorry.
He's saying maybe we just lock the two of you in a room together, and Lucy was just, oh god, no.
Caleb's like, I know friends that have done that.
it wouldn't be a bad idea. It'd at least keep him out of our hair for a day or two.
I want.
You have to catch me.
I want to be successful. I want to be successful. I want to set us up for success is what I mean. We have a lot on our plate. We have a lot of bad things coming. You know? And I just really want to set us up for success, and I don't know if Zephyr is going to be willing to put himself out there for us. He's just using us, I think.
Well, he has helped us before.
Yes.
Begrudgingly.
Yes.
I always remember, like, any point with the party or any point before they met the party when he knew Zephyr, of him ever causing, like, a major problem because of his selfishness?
The only incident you've picked up on through context is the time that,
betrayal.
out of loyalty to the family, Zephyr less directly participated in and more kept silent about your father's plan to sell the party out to Barbarous, which quickly turned on Zephyr anyway, and Zephyr stuck with the party from that point on. And Caleb, as you are aware and have made the party aware, since then Zephyr has more or less been nothing but helpful, if kind of a dick about it.
Was there anything from the past before the party that Caleb can remember?
Before the party?
No.
Yeah, like just growing up together. Zephyr?
I
I can fill in the gaps. I'm more just like giving you first.
don't know. It's just, I mean, I know. Yeah, it's not a lot. There's not a whole lot there. I know that. Yeah. I don't...
Caleb, you would recall that Zephyr's always been a bit distant. He's not necessarily the type to get incredibly emotionally invested outside of very select things, but he's loyal to the family, loyal to those that he deems worth being loyal to. You've always known Zephyr to be very pragmatic and rather uninvolved. He was always very humble, refusing to give in to the temptations of his upbringing of nobility, relatively friendly, if blunt and direct, with servants and commoners despite his status. The worst you can say about him is just that he's not necessarily friendly, but he's never gone out of his way to be unfriendly.
Yeah, I think Caleb's gonna be like, I will say that I've known Zephyr for a while, and he's usually actually, you might find it hard to believe, but he's actually, once he accepts a group, he tends to be very loyal to them. Even whenever he betrayed y'all, this group, he did technically do it out of loyalty to his family. It's just that he's very.
What I am
very
trying.
hard.
Go ahead.
He just seems to not take to a group immediately, and seems to take a while to accept a group.
We have. How long have we known Zephyr now?
In total, it's been about just closing in on 2 months.
Okay, that's fair. Lucian kind of shuffles her feet a little bit and kicks the dirt.
I was gonna say, Gil is then gonna look at Lucian and say, and we haven't exactly made it easy for him either. Like, how many times have we accused him over and over and not really given him the chance to be better with the group?
She kind of breaks into a laugh. When has he ever even showed the remote, like, wanting to do that? He doesn't even, like, show remorse for the things that he has done. He's never even said that he was sorry for what he has done in the past. You know, I just don't understand why he has to, like, I understand that he has to be, you know, maybe emotionally distant because he doesn't need to be, like, you know, friends with everybody. That's fine. I don't care about that. I don't want, if he doesn't want to be friends, I don't care. What I care about is whether or not he is going to be cooperative with the group. And if he is running ahead to get information that could possibly be useful for all of us, I don't understand why he couldn't have waited with us.
Maybe he just.
And I think that he is incredibly. Go ahead.
Kay was gonna say, maybe he just doesn't. Maybe he's just not comfortable with us knowing what his question is. Maybe it's something personal that he doesn't.
I don't care. We all have personal questions, Caleb.
To me, it seems like the problem might be you right now.
Lucian pinches the bridge of her nose again.
Well, Lucian gets to know what Joan is
I'm
like.
not. I'm not trying to be. I'm not trying to be a problem. I am not trying to be. I'm not trying to be a bitch. You know, I'm not trying to be whatever Zephyr thinks that I am. I know that he thinks that I am annoying and probably thinks that I talk too much, which, you know, I probably do, you know, but whatever. I think a lot and I try to talk a lot because I have a lot to say, but that's my thing.
Maybe, why don't you try not forcing Zephyr to be what you want him to be and just accept him for what he is?
A lying, selfish dick?
He could say the same thing about you.
Ooh.
When have I lied?
Told us absolutely everything all the time.
When have I lied to you?
I was just asking.
Is there a time that she's lied to us that any of us can remember?
That's up to you guys. A lot of my knowledge is DM stuff.
Player.
Yeah.
Let us.
Zephyr ahead of the group.
Zooming by.
You make it to the brokers first. Your dead set pace marched against Lucian's grinding halt. You make it to the front gates, and to your surprise, the twin guards that you had seen the last time step aside and allow you entry, as if expecting you. You make your way into the office, throwing open the double doors into the waiting area, and you see the dark-haired elven girl blowing a bubble of gum as you enter, and slouching against the opposite wall, you see Red Broker looking at a pocket watch that he immediately clicks as the door slams shut behind you. Oh, and we got a record! He gets here at a breakneck pace! First place!
Yeah, I had a feeling they do, because they saw the conversation.
All right, judges, tell him what he's won. And he kind of approaches you very quickly and kneels down to put an arm over your shoulder. Oh, well, I'm happy to tell Zephyr that he won. He gets to ask his questions. Oh, well, thanks so much, Judge. Thank you. And he kind of does like a tip of the hat and kind of slaps you on the back, Zephyr. If you go upstairs, you'll find your trophy waiting for you, kid. And he puts his hands on your shoulder and like, I'm just so proud of you.
He does voice
It's just.
I love him so much. I love him so much.
Wow.
All right, but in all seriousness, I'm gonna need to go with you. You know how it is. Need all three of us there. So your friends may have to wait if they get here behind you. You cool with that? I think you're cool with that. Let's go.
Yes. All right.
Zephyr does not help this case.
Zephyr, Red Broker escorts you up the stairs, winding around. Before you approach the doorway, he uses the mechanism on his wrist to open. You find yourself back in the lounge-like library that you had been in the first time. And all of a sudden your legs kind of shake as all the exhaustion of your sprint catches up with you. You can almost see brief flashes of people kind of just having to step aside and like almost jump out of the way in shock as you just sprinted past them. And on one of the monitors that the youngest broker, Marcus, is currently looking at, you see and can hear a visual of Gil from a slightly low angle, as you can hear Lucien's voice in a shrill argument with the rest of the group. As you enter the library, and you hear the oldest broker speak up. You hear, so you make it all the way through the frozen caverns, back to the city, and leave your friends behind in an eager attempt to get here to ask your question, not only first, but in secret. And he gestures for you to approach and gestures at the reclining chair opposite him. Well, I don't want to keep you waiting. You have a question?
Being he's exhausted, he's gonna go and sit down. He offered a chair. So.
I'm happy that you've become more accepting of our hospitality since the first time you were here. And he takes a sip of the glass of wine in his fingers.
God, you're making me thirsty now.
Red vaults over the couch to sit next to his brother, and Marcus slowly turns off the monitors and stands up and shakily and twitching makes his way to sit on the opposite side. I have a few theories, but I'd rather hear it from your lips. Zephyr Tabedra, what is the question you would like in payment for the favor you have done us? The information you and your friends gave us was valuable. Oh, and believe me, it was quite the show. You guys fight a lot.
Yes,
it was a drama, is what it was. Like daytime TV.
Oh, they're saying we fight. I was thinking like we fight enemies.
Yeah. And Ledger gives a nod and a very almost ghost of a smirk. Indeed, if you dedicated half of the energy you spent attacking each other to monsters, you would have made it through the dungeon at double the pace.
Frankly, we explored more than we had to. I don't. But
that was to your benefit. I would have been rather upset if we had not gotten a visual on that household. Very interesting structure, perplexing design. My brothers and I are already concocting some theories, but that's our business, not yours.
Mm-hmm.
He takes another sip of his wine before setting the glass in front of him and steepling his fingers as he leans forward. Well, let it not be said that we're not brothers of our word. You gave us what we wanted, and we'll give you what you want. What is it you wanted to ask in the privacy away from your friends?
I've, I a little worry you don't have the information. It's just I don't know if you just happen to have it on hand. I know you have a lot, but
You're not supposed to doubt their information.
but
If we
I
lack the information you
yeah.
seek, we'd be happy to offer you something else in fair exchange.
Yes. But I will ask away. He's just gonna give off a sigh and just. I would like to know where my parents are.
You might want to be specific.
My biological parents. Yeah.
Relax. We understand what you meant. He snaps his fingers, and Marcus stands up and immediately hurries off into the archives. And Ledger kind of leans
Carries
back
off
and
like a little rat.
basically, yeah, and gives a smirk as he looks at you. An interesting question. You could have asked us that the first time you were here, yet you chose to wait till now.
Well, I had my reasons.
The Ledger and Red look to each other, and you can almost see the kind of silent exchanges you and Caleb often have, even closer, given that these three are always in proximity and triplets. And as they finally look back to you, they give a bit of a smirk. Information is valuable, so I understand if you don't want to share, but he takes a sip, picks his wine back up to take another sip. Why are you so afraid of them knowing?
To be honest, it's less fear, more of they don't need to know, and I would care to keep it that way.
Well,
Even his brother.
we're information brokers. We have no intentions of violating your privacy. Any information exchanged in this building is a sacred bond of trust. Marcus returns with a familiar tube, and you see your name on it. The brokers pull their sleeves back, revealing the wrist ports that allow them to access the archives. They twist the tube, and the spikes jut out. The brothers each insert their wrists and grimace in pain as they receive the information. A moment passes, and the spikes retract into the archival tube that Marcus quickly clutches like a security blanket as Ledger leans back with a somewhat stony face. Your father is alive. Your mother, unfortunately, is deceased.
He's kind of silent on this news.
He pulls the projector device that he had and holds it near the tube, almost as if doing a silent exchange of information before clicking the projector. The room goes dark, and you see an image of yourself. Or rather, it has to be you. You've never seen anything that looks like you. You see a small, scaly, red baby wrapped in cloth. The perspective is a bit off, clearly recorded from a distance, likely from someone who had been to Edict and returned against their will. You see Rosewick. You see your siblings watching as your adopted father, a little bit younger than he looks now, but only slightly, steps forward to take the baby from... It's this figure that you can't clearly see. Like, the distance is too great and there's people and buildings in the way. But you see yourself being delivered as Ledger speaks. Your mother died in childbirth, as did you. Your father and mother were in Mybastrom prison as prisoners of war. We do not know from what conflict, unfortunately. But you were born in prison. The frost and snow of the mountains killed you, as did your mother. But he clicks the projector again, and you see an image of the beak-masked and cloaked Dr. Knight leaning on a cane as she talks with several figures. Again, the footage is somewhat distant and grainy, and it's almost impossible to see with how dark it is, but you can see her distinctive uniform as she exchanges words with presumably what appear to be dwarfen guards as Red speaks up. Whenever Beakface came a-calling looking for any bodies they could spare, your father offered you up. Said someone needed to survive that night, and what couldn't be done for your mom, Dr. Knight said could be done for you. And almost unwillingly you hear running through your head. You hadn't been there for it, but had heard the story from Lucian afterwards. Dr. Knight talking about the Gyogran soldier that had been shot in cold blood to preserve the secrecy of the Concord. I can bring him back twice over. We do not know whose genetics were combined to create you, Zephyr Tebedra, but we do know where your last living biological relative is. And he clicks the projector again, and you see the same image he had shown Caro of this human figure you've never met with tattoos in a fight with other prisoners, but in the background, and now zooming in on it, you can see a red-scaled kobold like yourself. As far as our information can tell us, your father's still alive in Myberstrom prison, and has been that way for the last 10 years.
I did happen to see that, though I wasn't sure if that was a family, though it is nice to confirm.
The brokers are silent as they click the projector one final time, and the room lights back up as the projection dies down. I hope this information was to your satisfaction.
Quite. And I appreciate the service that you have supplied.
Indeed. We have other favors you could do for us if you're in the market for more.
As far as I know, at this moment, I don't know of any questions that I could ask you, so... Plus, I have other business I would like to take care of.
Ever the businessman, Mr. Tebedra.
I try to keep my my hands full if I can.
You see Red kind of pat his waistline. Oh, where's my wallet, you little sneak? Well, if you would like, he snaps his fingers, and Red immediately grabs and hands him a bottle of wine and a glass that he begins to pour. You may wait here while we discuss business with your friends.
To be honest, I'm pretty sure at least a few of them would probably not like to see me, and plus, as I mentioned, I have other business I must attend to.
Information is something valuable, but may I ask what you have planned? Perhaps we could be of further assistance. You've been very valuable to us, Mr. Tebedra.
I happened to come across, I believe her name was, what was it, Queen...
Queen Bee.
Yeah, Queen Bee. I happened to come across of the Queen Bee and had a little chat. She happened to give me some information on some people.
Oh, you're cheating on us with another information dealer! You trollop!
Trollop! Oh, what a goofball. I love this guy.
Ever the double dealer, aren't you, Mr. Tebedra?
Well, to be honest, I wasn't really planning on having a chat with her, but I saw an opportunity and I took it, but...
she's much like you in that regard.
Yeah.
A slut.
Oh, damn.
But, yeah, I believe near the caves that you had me go, there are some people there I was instructed to talk to.
Very well. He kind of pauses and... Do you intend to separate from your traveling companions?
I cannot lie and say the thought didn't cross my mind once or twice, but
Here you are.
yes, for now, I will. I do have. For now, they still have their uses. So
Feels like for now's getting a bit longer and longer every day, ain't it?
yeah, well, not until I complete what I'm looking for. They can still help me.
They kind of pause and all look to each other. Far be it from me, I'm not exactly a socialite myself, but would seeking the completion of your mission not be easier were you to simply cooperate? I acknowledge your group travels a bit slowly, even for my liking. I was running out of popcorn by midway through. But I doubt they'd say no if you simply presented what you wanted, and you could make arrangements. All of them have agendas of their own, but most of them have to wait. Yours is actually one of the few they can most immediately pursue, at least not without suffering a horrifying death.
Well, that could be true or not. Being as a Tibetan person, raised, simply asking people for favors is not something I do often, and if I can coast into it, then I'd probably prefer that. And to be honest, I've already have a few ideas on how I can get it done.
And just to be sure, would you prefer the information exchanged here today remains between us?
If that is within your power.
He gives a smirk and says, barring a situation where one of them asks what you asked as the information they request, that's amendable. Are you sure you wouldn't like to stay and get the information they're asking for as well as your own?
I don't see what information they have or what information they seek that I am in need of. And the sooner I take care of this business, the sooner I can be on my way to see or be on my way to this compound that you have showed me.
Very well. He gestures and Red starts kind of making his way towards the doorway. The brokers wish you luck in your quest, Zephyr. But from one sibling to another, both from rather illicit families, let me offer you a piece of advice. You need to be careful if you choose to coast, because coasts tend to get eaten when the tide comes.
Damn.
Damn.
That was raw.
Oh, Rada.
Until next time, Mr. Tebedra. You may want to be quick. Your friends will be here soon, and we have more questions to answer. Oh, I'm excited.
Then I will be taking my leave. He will proceed to walk out.
All right. Red heads down the stairs with you, hands in his pockets, seeming actually relatively quiet and contemplative. You don't see that from him often, as he accompanies you silently down the stairs. And about halfway down, he finally speaks up. You know, I like you. You're funny.
Angry little lizard boy.
You have a certain charm of yourself, I guess.
And he starts like beating against his chest. Oh, my heart! Oh, my heart is gonna explode!
I think that's the first time I've heard him actually compliment somebody. Man. Hey, wait, you feel that? The ground just got really cold all of a sudden. It's frozen over.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is it snowing?
Well, I think the world is about to end, guys.
Yeah, turns out all you need to do for Zephyr to be nice to you is just be straight and to the point.
Gil already does that.
I mean,
And Zephyr's nice to you.
It's like he doesn't have a problem with you. It's just Lucian.
Red leads you down and opens the door for you, and with an extravagant bow allows you to leave. But as you're heading out, he says, you probably want to get head out the back. For the sounds of it, things are going to get pretty fucking awkward if they see you out there, yeah?
Well, from what I saw, they don't think they're gonna be here, at least not right away. So they were still having from what I saw on the screen, they were still having a little chit chat.
Yeah, but between grabbing refills of popcorn, I did pick something up watching all that. And one thing I was able to pick up, and he actually pulls a handful of popcorn from his pocket and just kind of nibbles on it. The thing is, whenever you guys stop tearing each other apart, you're pretty good at getting shit done. And he kind of like stops and pulls a kernel from between his teeth and flicks it across the waiting area. Anyway, I'm not gonna lecture you. Just trying to get back to me in one piece, or if you do come back in multiple pieces, just try to get really funny prosthetics. Maybe like a claw, and he does like a little pincer with his hand.
I am the claw.
Yeah, I would like to stay in one piece. Yes, that would be preferred. I guess until next time I see you.
See you around. And as he gestures and you start heading out the back way, he turns and grins widely as he stares at the front door, waiting for the rest of the party to arrive and ask questions of their own. And that is where we're going to end tonight's session.
Oh, yeah.
I was
I was
honestly
about to
thinking
say,
you were.
don't you do it.
I was honestly thinking that he
don't
was.
do it.
What
We have
Jacob?
had no chance to ask questions yet.
Well, yeah, you can wait. You gotta get
Yeah,
you a whole week
the
to
whole
prepare.
next session can be dedicated to that.
Yeah, next week. So Jacob,
And what were you saying, Jacob? Sorry?
yeah.
I was honestly thinking you were gonna end it on the freaking wham line of "Where are my parents?"
I considered it, but I thought like it'd be better to like actually play that out, and then like this is a Zephyr episode, I think. We got a lot of
Lucian.
I feel like it's just a debate. It's more or less a separate episode. It's a debating episode. Caleb got some stuff in there.
That's true.
Caleb, let's start a snowball fight.
Yeah, I like it is like clockwork with you guys. You have like a really sweet group bonding moment, followed immediately by the harshest argument you've had yet.
Why do you think Caleb got so
Hey,
upset?
Gil's been pretty
Because he
good.
thought they were being friends for once. And then this happened.
Like, at least Gil has come quite a ways, at least. He might be
Oh
stupid.
no, that's fair. Yeah, there's character development all around. It's just
he
like
might be stupid, but
I mean, it is
Gil
mostly
along.
2 characters.
we've worked it down to 2.
Worked it down. I think it's been mostly Zephyr and Lucian who's been at their throat.
Yeah.
Everyone else is like, I'm either on Zephyr's side or Lucian's side.
Mm-hmm.
It tends
Right,
to
right
flip-flop
now,
depending
Gil
on
just
the
wants to
issue.
smack the two of you and make you get along.
They can.
Yeah,
They
maybe we
can.
should just lock them in a room, given they may just end up tearing each other apart.
I mean, there's a few things
Either
you'd
way,
have to do.
problem solved.
It'll be very hard to accomplish, though.
Before we get
Okay,
too
we're
off
going to find a way to be able to put up with each other, or one of them's going to rip the other apart, and then won't have a problem anymore.
Or they'll just get out.
yeah, it's the one thing they can work together on is trying to get away from each other.
I was like,
Just trap them in an escape room.
I was like, unless you like take all of Zephyr's stuff, you could just lockpick himself out. It's like, well, bye.
Check out our website at officiald5hub.info. Check the links posted in chat to join our official D5 Discord server if you want to hang out with us directly, and support our episodes posted on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you get your podcasts. Check out the Odd Tornado Productions official on Tumblr to find links to our other works, including our Kobold Rogues Twitch channel at twitch.tv/AustinFreak123. And with that, thanks all of you so much for playing. Thanks everyone at home so much for watching, and we'll see you all next week.